Hello. All right, we're gonna jump on cons or attempt to jump on cons panel and see what kind of craziness we can get into. So let's see what we're gonna do here. Is this even link to join panel?
Oh, see, yeah, Doomerang likes, yeah. Well, it's not really a guilty play. I just know someone like SD is going to call me gay, and someone's going to say new girl fluence. Yeah, I understand. Doomerang last time when I mentioned Jurassic Park said clever girl fluence. Now that's burned into my mind. Okay.
Oh, that's so funny.
Good to see you, Mo.
Yeah, I just is going, going into these deep topics and just trying to get away from you, but you just keep talking and talking.
Yeah, but here's the thing that does happen. That does low-key happen a little bit, but I can flip on a dime. Like if someone's like, "Hey, I need someone for beer pong," I'm fucking over there, right? Fuck Bosnia. Who?
And then you just tear the you take the conversation to the beer pong table, like.
No, I just like I code switch. That's what the queer. Well,
Wow! Whoa! A little bit of a slip there, buddy. Whoa! A little bit of a slip there.
That's what that in queer language. That's what they call that.
From the show.
Yeah. I think just saying the queer people sounds a little, especially if you add an S to it. It's like when Charlie Kirk says the blacks. It just hits different. But I mean, the just blacks. Like in queer language, right? They talk about code switching.
I don't know anything about queer language. You'll have to explain that to me. Sorry.
It's like a race. It's like a race thing too. So it's like have you not heard about this? With like a black person with like other black people, they might like Mike. I feel like I don't know how to explain something racist, but not all black people. Some black people might speak in a different way to black people than when they speak to white people, for example, right?
They're talking code or something. They talking like
no. When they're, I don't want to do an impression of how they might talk to one another.
They start like making clicking noises.
When they're talking to black people or white people, they'll be like, "Oh, hey, what is up, my dude?" Like
yeah, there we go.
What's up, my dude?
So yeah, like whatever white people say. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's code switching, and in the same way, right? It's something in the queer community, I think, right? Where it's like, if
white people are talking to black people, they'll be like, "Please, I don't have any money." But if you're talking to a white person,
yeah, that's usually how the dialogue goes.
You almost got a spit take. You almost got a for real spit take. Okay.
So you talk to certain people differently just based on their appearance, which is probably not a good thing to do, but it happens.
I don't know. It sounds like it could save your life in some certain scenarios.
Okay. I did open the door, so I can't really say shit.
Mic is every time I speak and someone else speaks, cuts me off. My mic can't pick someone else speaking.
Your mic doesn't have that Chad energy, huh?
Your mic is dying even though you're the only one talking, Kirk. That's the thing. Like,
yeah, we were all quiet. You were talking. You were cut out.
Yeah, it's just I don't think it's
your
like
mic's scared of itself.
Yeah,
you should check your audio settings. Like, is your reduced mic background noise off? Echo cancellation?
Yeah, turn all that shit off.
He's working on it too. We have to be careful.
Okay, now they're all off.
You need to get on. Run it through OBS too. That can help. Can boost it.
How do I change it on?
Still trash. Okay, that didn't help.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
You may have to go to your audio settings, like your actual settings, and then check audio, and then like see if there's a microphone setting. Or
we tried this yesterday for like 20 minutes. We're gonna get to work. Okay, brother needs a headset.
Or in StreamYard, if you see the microphone logo, make sure it's done through speakerphone and not.
I suggest for your phone a blue parrot.
I suggest you buy a computer and a microphone.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, and preferably not off Temu. Like avoid that. Get it off like Amazon or something.
Tomato.
Which could also come from Temu. But
you can get them at the Loves. They're pretty decent.
loves.
By the 450, you get or is it the 650? You get double-headed ear, and you can take the one off. Pretty nice.
So I joined this panel because I saw it was a review of a debate, and
It is, and we're actually watching it. We just average
We are?
joined, and he like we were.
Sounds like we're
average-
doing IT troubleshooting.
Average
today.
joined, and then we got like distracted, and
The
now we're
timer
back.
started. The timer
Okay.
started at 10, so we got 3 minutes and.
No, Tessie's timer started at 100 minutes actually. So we've gotten a long way through the video,
almost got halfway through one of the opening statements. So,
which is incredible. But no, we're going back to this, and Zerka is going to join. He's just taking a long time on his motorcycle, okay? But he will join.
To change it, but in fact, we discovered truth, which presupposes a notion of truth that
I don't think
exists
he's gonna come.
external to us.
Oh, he's gonna come.
So that's
Don't say it like that.
one level of it. I think that's the most
Oh,
solid
he's gonna-
evidence for why atheism is impossible. Because again, a strictly material universe, no one particular object can ground or make possible or produce universal invariant laws. But also we have the ethical angle, we have the epistemic angle, as I just mentioned, and trying to get better at freeballing opening statements. I think it's an impressive thing to do, but that's all I got right now. I'm itching to get into the open panel. So very curious to see how my opponent will attempt to
We made it through a
justify
whole
and give
opening.
reasoning for
Crazy.
universal immaterial.
Yeah, Eli's gotten
universal
pretty
immaterial
good.
laws,
He's getting better.
and
and
I
better.
appreciate him for doing this debate. There we go.
All right.
Thank
So, 5 minute
you.
rebuttal, right?
Oh, hold up. Thank you for that opening statement, Eli. With that, we are going to hand it over to you, Circa, for your opening statement. Let me restart this timer for you. And whenever you're ready, Circa, for your opening statement, you can go ahead and jump right in, and I'll start that
I feel like
timer up.
Speakeasy is calling him Zerka now too. Did I do that, or am I just hearing what I want to hear?
No,
I
you
think
definitely did
a
that.
lot of people. Well, yeah, it's your fault. It's all your fault.
I think because everyone would call him Sirkar.
I agree with
before.
I agree
Now
with Lomo.
I'm hearing
yes.
Zerka. I think it caught. I think it caught on. Okay.
For you.
Okay. Honestly, it was actually really interesting opening. I actually feel like there's a lot of depth to the philosophy behind this stuff. It reminds me of a lot of Jay Dyer's arguments. Now, I do want to point out that when we talk about the impossibility of the contrary and how Jay Dyer uses, if I'm not mistaken, it doesn't matter. Point is, I think you'd still have to prove that the necessary condition for X is not actually proven yet. So, in my opinion, it doesn't really show necessity. Also, false.
Not really an
falsifying
opening,
atheism does
Zerka.
not
What
mean that it is
kind of opening is
impossible
this?
or unreal.
back in the premise.
Give him a
Impossible
minute.
is
Let him
impossible.
try.
Are you trying to say that it is false, or are you trying to say that it is just not real? Because those are two different things. And then for the worldview holism claim, this is just a nice way to package everything up into a nice little entanglement. It's not very narrow, and it does not imply that atheism, again, is unreal. And you probably need to show how you can narrow this down instead of doing a totalization here. And then
It does
I
kind of
wanna
look
point
like
out
that.
that
That's why he's like
when it
stumbling a little
comes
bit.
to philosophical systems, let's just say between atheism and like theism in particular, all of us kind of argue over the definitions, and at minimum a stance on God belief, and not like just metaphysical definitions in general, are not going to essentially make atheism untrue again, or sorry, unreal or impossible, like the prompt says. And I feel like I heard a lot of arguments and slogans hiding underneath one slogan, and none of them really are going to give you what this prompt says. So again, atheism can be false without being impossible. And if we slide into a disagreement over the metaphysical impossibility, from disagreement to that, I'd like to see how.
Man, I don't. Why Zerka should really write out his openings like he did with the Andrew Wilson one. I know that one was a little like compact and kind of like lost people, but he should have written it out because he's just responding. He's trying to respond off the fly to what Nix is saying.
Yeah, maybe he has like a portion that's written, and he's just like
he
free
uses-
balling
he
right
uses
now at the beginning or
Obsidian.
something.
So if you see him reading, he's probably reading off his monitor because he uses a program or Obsidian, which is just like a note.
I know what
thing.
Obsidian is. Testy,
Well, I don't know.
thank you.
I didn't know what it was for the longest time. So I'm just saying it's probably a mix. He probably jotted down some of the shit he was saying, and he's trying to mix in stuff he's written. If I had to guess,
the Andrew one was like, it had some poetry in there. I know people gave him shit for that, but maybe that's the thing. Maybe he took the criticism too hard that people were giving him. Because I actually think the Andrew Wilson opener was good. It was just a little like a lot of stuff packed into one. Maybe he realized it didn't work because it seems it seems like everything he's saying is like in direct response to what Nick said in his opening. So like, what was his opening going to be?
Well, it's also, I mean, I don't know. Well, I guess we could just listen, but also
we'll never know if we don't listen.
Also in the negative, fine. Right? So it is his job to argue against the affirmative.
Yeah, but not usually in an opening. I don't know. Right, well, but last time he was the affirmative, so I don't know.
You can make that jump, and then even if logic or morality require grounding, like you mentioned before, that still doesn't show that atheism is unreal. I mean, it just means that whatever you believe in is certainly like presupposed is the only ground, but that still doesn't prove it's unreal. And I think that'll just end my rebuttal there.
Terrible opening. Terrible.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I take back all the good will that I gave. Waiting for them to expand on this argument.
I give Zerka a lot of credit where credit's due, but I think that was not a good opening. I'm being real. I don't think that.
Yeah, maybe he did have like a very structured opener, and then when he saw what his opponent had, it kind of didn't fit at all. So maybe he had to make it up on the fly.
I don't know. I think it was. Yeah, I don't think it was great, but I think he raised like the necessary objections.
07's Emmett.
What's up, Emmett?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this was. I mean, it was like 3 minutes. It was disjointed. It was a little stumbling. I mean, and it was just in direct response to what Nick had said.
I haven't heard like a substantive critique of anything that he said though. You're just like, yeah, it was stumbling a little bit. He just kind of was pretty short. Like
no, but like in an opening, you should be like setting up the conditions, I guess, for like how like what your opponent would have to prove, and not like
you have to set up your argument.
Like you can't just like that's the whole point of an opening. At least my understanding of what an opening is supposed to be.
Yeah, right? You can definitely take shots since you're the person going second. But you do need to put forth like a framework of what you're going to be arguing, something, some kind of meat, right? Because I'll tell you what's probably, I haven't seen this. I'll probably tell you what's going to happen when it goes back to Eli. I don't know what he's going to like really go after. He doesn't have really anything to for the rebuttal. Like there's not like much there, so they're probably just going to go to open panel. That's what I predict.
Is Zerko playing the agnostic role, or is he actually taking the negation and saying atheism is possible?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I've only seen 5 minutes of this. I would assume that one. But have you seen the whole thing, Testy?
No, I saw like probably the latter half of it. So I don't know exactly how long this thing went, but yeah. Brandon was in chat. Actually, we were both there. We're like, hey, what's up?
We dapped each other up in Zerka's chat.
Dabbed each other.
But Frazier.
This is 5 minutes of unintegrated.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say it was a great opener. I'll agree with that.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good.
Interrupted rebuttal.
Go back to writing mud, Zerka, if you're listening. If you're listening, you should be joining. So
reply directly to their opponent's openings, and then after that, we're gonna get into the full hour. So we're gonna hand the mic back to you, Eli. Whenever you.
Oh wait, did you hear that? Did you hear him say? He said, I thought that was rebuttal.
So he said that Eli has now a chance to rebuttal.
I don't think so. Let me go back. I swear I heard.
I thought he was talking. It sounded like he was talking to his chat or something, and then came off mute early.
Yeah. But I think that would explain it. I think Zerka might have got. I'll have to ask him if he does join. I think that would explain why this didn't feel like an opener. I think he thought that this was his time to rebuttal the opener, not his. I mean, listen to what he says again.
And then after that, we're gonna get into the full hour. So we're gonna hand. The mic back to you,
Yeah. he did say that.
Okay.
Oh, no, that's fair.
Holy
All right,
shit.
Okay. all right.
Yeah. Okay. Zerk has been redeemed. Okay. There's a confusion.
Eli, whenever you're ready for your
Well,
5-minute rebuttal,
kind
I will
of,
start the
but-
timer up with your voice.
You should know that
I
that's
am
the opener
ready.
too.
So again, talking about
Well, yeah, he did it like a week
impossibility
ago, so,
versus
but
falsehood.
at least it makes
I believe
sense.
atheism is both false and impossible. This is demonstrated from pointing out that immaterial universal concepts cannot come from anything other than an immaterial universal mind. It logically follows, especially through the valid argument of a transcendental argument. This is what needs to be addressed in this debate in order to show that the proposition I'm making is false, especially if I can demonstrate exactly what I'm talking about and demonstrate.
So he's just kind of
the
restating his
possibility.
argument.
Again, we can take anything
the-
like,
the
for
premise
example,
is that-
truth being universal, immaterial, and conceptual. That which is universal must be grounded in the universal. That which is immaterial must be grounded in the immaterial. And that which is conceptual must be grounded.
You know, what's funny to think is I wonder if Zerka did have an opener then written out that he either now will use during his rebuttal phase or if he just now like scrapped the whole thing. Like, I wonder if he actually did have a strong opener, but now he just can't use it because he said the rebuttal during the opener.
In a mind definitionally. So you could disagree with that, with the universality that makes truth impossible. You could disagree with the immateriality, but I don't think you can pick up truth and hand it to me or step into a puddle of truth. And again, you could disagree that concepts come from minds, but again, you would be violating the definition of the concept, or you would be going with a different definition of the of concept being an idea. You would have to show me an idea that doesn't come from a mind. So this is where I'm actually showing metaphysically, you're correct, that would be the category of the metaphysical possibility of universal, immaterial, conceptual categories in an atheist paradigm. If that can be demonstrated to be possible without a universal immaterial mind,
Kirk,
then
your
I
mic
guess
is giving me
that would
literal
be
cancer.
that would be the job of the atheist to do. But through my demonstration, it clearly is not possible. You would have to deny the ontological status that I just proposed. And in doing so, I can demonstrate, and I do argue, that you've now made the things in question impossible. I've got 3 minutes left. I'm not saying he committed this necessarily, but it was dancing around it. I've been a fan of Jay Dyer's for a long time. I read a lot of the things he recommends his audience to read, but we dance around a genetic fallacy there, talking about that the argument comes from one person. This is an argument that's also made by Dr. Greg Bahnsen, Van Til, even Aristotle, while not for the same type of theism or even any
Already
type
did,
of,
Big Soda.
I guess
Thank
the
you for the
unmoved
$2.
mover, right? But he made a transcendental argument in his
Kirk, you're
works as
muted.
well, so it is a historical.
Oh wait, no, I
valid
thought that was
argument.
K2.
And
Yeah,
I
Kirk
just
is
would
still
like
muted.
the premises addressed. I'm sure my opponent will do that.
Kirkenstein.
All right, thank you.
I'll concede the time.
All right, thank you very much for that rebuttal. And with that, we're going to hand the mic back over to Circa. Circa, whenever you're ready for your 5-minute uninterrupted rebuttal, I'll start that timer up with your voice.
Yeah, so the name I forgot, actually, when you said it, it reminded me of him. Van Til is where Jay Dyer gets most of his work from, as well as Frame, Bahnsen, and Calvin, right? Now, transcendental arguments are kind of his thing for the most part, and I just want to make this clear right now that this is still going to have to prove for the necessary condition X, correct? Is going to have to be able to prove necessity, uniqueness, and public accessibility. So, in my opinion, standard accounts of transcendental arguments do not, just give you those for free just by presupposing them. And I know you're saying that you kind of already tried to address that, but the point is that I don't actually accept that presupposition, and it is a proof for you if you do. Now, I think what I probably want to ask is something like, are you making a public argument I could assess without first granting that theology? Or are you making an internal Christian claim? And then something else I think I kind of saw in there was that I feel like, again, this doesn't really mean much. I heard immaterial concepts can only equal or come out of an immaterial mind. And then I heard immediately after that this is obvious by logic. So I'd like to
I'm a little worried that Zerk is out of his depth here. He seems a lot more confident in the fascist debate with Wilson.
Well,
I'm not sure though. I don't know what his background is, but I've never talked really with Zerk. I don't think ever about philosophy.
Do you object to anything he said so far?
Yeah, well, I just don't. I feel like he's misunderstanding. I feel like he's misunderstanding what Nick said.
I personally think that like he's pointing out the correct like critique. And here's the frustration. I know skipping ahead a bit, but like the whole debate I think kind of goes like this. Although I didn't see this first half, is that Zerka is rejecting the framing itself. So what Eli is trying to do constantly is kind of create this burden of proof of like, well, he says he uses a very specific phrase, but he says this throughout. You even said it in his opening, something about like you can't prove the contrary or something. And so he sets up a bit of a dichotomy where it's like, if you can't prove this thing, then my thing is the correct thing. And what Zerka is kind of like the angle that he takes, and the reason why he might seem Weasley, maybe he is a bit because he bites bullets later, but he's rejecting the framing of the argument because he even said, like, you're presupposing, like, do I have to accept the presupposition of X or whatever, right?
I guess, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what he specifically means.
But most of the presup for tag, at least in the beginning steps, is just basically like laws of logic and metaphysical concepts. So if you're going to reject that, then you have a problem.
Well, it's not the laws of logic. They get into that later. But specifically what Eli said was that an immaterial concept requires an immaterial mind, or the concept itself.
Yeah. That's the end.
Would be an example, wouldn't
but
they?
That's the end of that's kind of like the entailment of the tag argument. That's not the beginning. You don't start with that.
I do think I understand what Testy's saying though, because Zerka did say, I would need to see the logic for that when he said, like an immaterial mind is required for immaterial concepts or universal, whatever the fucking word is. And I think he's just asking, like, what's the argument? How do you go from this proposition to the next proposition?
Yeah, and that's where most of the argument takes place in tag, right? So that when you get to like the later steps.
Concepts. Sorry, don't all concepts come from minds though? Isn't that like almost like?
No, that is like debated.
Yeah, that's kind of the crux of the argument.
Well, what's a concept that doesn't come from a mind?
Well, you have Platonists. You have people that think that the concepts like
no, I know there's people that think that, but what's a concept that doesn't come from a mind?
But okay, so actually, this is key.
What
to the
would we
entire
say?
Debate. But this is the key into the entire debate: is that the precept that's baked in there is that it must come from a mind.
And even Platonists, no, I don't even think that's true, right? Because like the Platonic ideal is like definitionally coming from a mind, right?
I don't think it necessarily has to be.
If you think there's like a perfect chair out there, right? That's like the whole. Unless I'm misunderstanding, I thought the whole point is that that's coming from some like.
Do you think that the concept of gravity comes from a mind?
The concept of gravity, yes.
Yeah.
Gravity
really?
itself,
the physical force that manifested in the world is different.
Yes. So just
the concept.
That's not the concept.
I agree. But so I can even kind of bite the bullet just for the sake of argument and say, okay, the concept of gravity can come from a mind, but that does not mean that gravity itself comes from a mind.
But you're conflating two different things, like physical force in the world, and then the concept you're using to describe that force.
Well, the common one is like where the number 2 or whatever, right? Or where it's like a non-physical thing, right?
How is this a bullshit question, Keelan? This was the beginning of his argument that people are disagreeing on. So I think it's fair for me to ask that. His initial thing was every immaterial concept comes from an immaterial mind. So I think it's fair if someone disagrees for me to say, well, what's an example? If we're denying this, if we're denying that premise, it's fair for me to ask for an example of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I understand concepts to be mind dependent. That's how I use the language. But I was just pointing out there are people out there that think that concepts are something that exists externally to us, and we somehow become acquainted with those concepts, or they furnish our minds when we interact with them. There are views out there like that. Now, I don't even know what they're talking about. I think it's kind of gibberish, but
sounds a bunch of gobbledygook to me.
I'll try to clarify it because I'll bite the bullet. I think the concepts do come from minds. The addition I'm making to that is that it doesn't therefore follow or doesn't therefore show that what they refer to comes from a mind. So like the thing as it exists in like space, physical space, or whatever you want to say.
I don't fully understand this argument because basically they're talking about
This is the problem. Oh, sorry, I might have cut you off. Your mic kind of cracked.
I think your mic is just
your mic is just your mic is just cutting in and out, brother.
Turn on your camera and start using sign language.
You either gotta you gotta fix something. You gotta fix something. I don't know what, but
I was saying that basically the argument is fallacious because just because the concepts dependent on the mind doesn't mean they refer to anything external.
What?
Wait, say again?
That's true.
Because just because concepts refer to something from the mind doesn't mean they refer to anything external. Like numbers exist in a Platonic world of forms.
Well, sure, but I don't think Nick's argued that.
I think he's saying Nick's argument is fallacious. Is that what you were referring to when you said it was fallacious?
But why? What part? What part would be fallacious?
One tap for yes, 2 taps for no.
Good to see you, Alex. Because Nick isn't saying, at least from what I'm understanding, he's not saying that the concepts have to become something an actual physical reality or anything, right?
Okay,
the concepts can stay conceptual, but if we the whole thing I think that he's building to or already said is that if we acknowledge that concepts exist, right, that would exist if we didn't live, if we never lived, and those things would still exist, then they're not dependent on our mind anymore, but they're still mind dependent. So whose mind are they dependent on? So it must be some like eternal mind, whatever we want to call it. Because they are concepts are definitionally mind dependent.
There's like an ontological, and I think Eli brings this up maybe later. I don't know if it's a strength or a weakness of his argument, but because there's the epistemological sense of this, and then there's like an ontological sense, and he's making like an ontological claim.
Good to see you, not Voltaire.
Good to see Volt.
Yeah, well.
So hold on.
Maybe we can hear the actual argument instead of speculating on what the argument's going to be.
And to be clear, how you guys are kind of handling the whole, like, what the fuck is an objective concept? What is a concept independent of minds? That's how I feel about morality.
Well,
we know your preference. We got it.
But that's the same thing, though. We have morality independent of minds.
Oh my God! Let's not go down this side quest.
We get into that.
Let's not go down this side quest. We have a video.
I know, but
I blame you for this, brain.
Answer: morality is mind dependent, and so if we didn't exist, morality would still exist, and therefore, right? There's an objective mind called God.
Just asserting that. God damn it!
Just say my preference, Brandon, so we can move
biology
on.
Dependent.
With the morality, I am asserting that.
But, all right, you know what? I think
hold on.
Can
you hear me?
Oh yeah, we hear you.
Is morality mind or biology dependent?
Whatever.
There's probably a biological. I think there's a strong biological component.
I mean, it references biology. Like obviously, if we liked pain and hated pleasure, then morality would probably be different, right? So it's obviously like.
Okay, so
biology's going to change it.
What you're saying is we're giving a name to something that we can see exists in some format.
Yeah. So evidence.
Yes.
So the thing itself is not this like abstract mind independent category. It's just a pattern of things.
No, it absolutely is. It absolutely. If we just define
morality would still be a thing.
This is physically debated,
or moral in a universe without humans.
Well, I mean, you need moral agents to do moral actions,
And who
but I don't think that means
moral agents.
This is the thing. This is where you're cucking yourself, because I know you'd like to think that you can have morality without God and stuff, but you actually can't if you think about it. And so
you actually kind of
You want
can
that?
if you think about it.
no, you
That's not the
can't.
point.
It is
That's
even
not the point. That's not
even
the
Brandon admits it's all his preferences,
not
and if
the
that's always my
No,
moral
that's just how I use the
statements.
language. I don't say like you can't
That's not the
have
point.
objective morality without God or anything. I wouldn't make that claim.
Because
You
you'd have to
say
prove
that when
in
you
every possible way
you
that
say
you cannot have
hold
this,
up, Brandon, when you say grape juice is bad, like
this
not like in the
argument
TikTok
is not
language,
gonna
I
go
mean, like in
anywhere
the
with these
TikTok, like
guys.
grape juicing someone is bad. You said you
Just
mean that in the same
wish we
way
could
that
play
you
the
mean
video
I don't
to
like
review it.
chocolate
Holy
ice cream.
shit.
It's just a degree of like intensity. That's what you said.
Yeah,
how he
that's
explains it
how I
because he
use
doesn't have
moral
better
language. That's right. But
Right.
that says nothing about my view about objective morality. I'm agnostic about objective morality.
Alex, your mic sounds really
agnostic? Are you agnostic about if you like the chocolate ice cream or not?
Wait, can
No,
we just,
I'm pretty confident I like
sake of,
chocolate ice cream.
Maybe moving this forward.
So then, is that an objective? I don't understand. How are we slipping in from?
He
How are you like
objectively
so
likes-
sure about
He
that?
objectively likes ice cream.
Are you objectively? Okay,
I'm
so
just curious.
I don't
Why
even
do you
know.
think?
I'm not even
Because
sure if I'm-
you said
Hold on,
that
what
you
he
can't.
thinks is objectively what he thinks. So if he likes chocolate ice cream, then objectively he likes chocolate ice cream. It's not that chocolate ice cream is objectively good to everyone, but it's objectively good to him.
So, but would he hold the same standard and say chocolate ice cream is? I'm agnostic on if chocolate ice cream is like actually tastes good. I'm agnostic on that.
What is that?
That's what he's saying.
Well, no, because he can taste.
Well, because
chocolate
well,
ice
that's what
cream
you're
and determine
saying.
if he likes it.
Like
But
in
if
the
he's
objective,
never
you say you're
tasted-
agnostic about if objective morality exists
If he's
outside of
never
us, like in that
tasted-
sense.
If he's never tasted
What's up, Var?
chocolate
Good
ice
to see
cream
you.
before, and he doesn't have
On
the
another
ability
debate
to
panel.
taste
I'm waiting
it,
for them to actually
then
get to
he
the
might
video.
say,
We're
well,
having
I'm
the
agnostic on that 'cause
meta
I can't
conversation.
Yeah, but he's
about
tasted it and he's tasted
conversation.
evil, right? If you
Wait,
think
no,
about
he
it,
can taste. He can
this is-
taste what he considers to be good and evil.
Yes, it's yeah,
but
it's
it
based
doesn't
on
mean
experience.
that they are objectively, truly good and evil.
There's a conflation that's happening, and this always happens within these debates. Which there's an epistemological
Like he might be
version
really.
of objective, and then there's the ontological version.
You cut
Right?
him off while he was driving, right? But that doesn't change the fact that cutting someone off may not be a morally bad thing to do, depending on the circumstance.
Oh, am I muted?
no, Alex is just talking at the same time you're talking.
Who's talking? I can't hear anyone
Test.
else.
Testy
Oh,
was talking.
I was talking. It's
Oh,
okay.
you're Testy?
Maybe you can't hear me.
I can hear you now. I couldn't.
Oh, okay,
before.
okay. Well, just to like concise, because this is exactly where people are missing each other. So, in like an epistemological sense, and like a knowledge sense, right? There's like some intersubjectivity that you could like check, right? You could ask people, "What's your favorite ice cream?" or whatever, but you're not making comments on like an ontological, like the nature of something, or when we talk about like mind independence existing in this like I don't know ethereal plane or whatever. So like the I feel like when objective is thrown out there, it's being used in these two different fashions simultaneously. Does that make sense?
It does, but then I don't understand why Brandon. I'm going to talk as a
Yeah, basically, we're trying to do a debate
use the
review,
same
but these
language
guys are
to talk
going
about
into
liking
weeds with
ice
a
cream as
conversation
you would to
that's
talk about his
not really
dislike
gonna go
of
anywhere.
graping women. Like I would think that those would be different categories of things.
Is it immoral to litter?
Well, liking or disliking ice cream, there's
I
no
would say
moral
it depends.
weight to that. I don't understand.
Depends on your moral
Can it
authority.
be immoral to litter?
It can be.
Can it be immoral to grape?
Depends on your moral authority.
Yes, it definitely can be.
Okay, so how can you use the same language to talk about both of those things? You're using immorality for both, right?
Right, but those
I realize
I don't really.
But he's using the. He's just changing.
I know, but that's
the
like a
word
category.
because he doesn't like
Those are like different categories. That's the thing. And even Brandon, I think, acknowledges on some level because he's obviously not agnostic on if ice cream objectively tastes good. He would probably say ice cream does not objectively taste good. Tastes good to some people, doesn't taste good to other people.
I wouldn't say that's false. I would say I don't even know what that means, just like I do with morality. What does it mean for something to objectively taste good? I don't know what that means.
But you don't know. I don't
understand.
I don't really get how you don't know what that means. But then how are you agnostic on it?
It's a personal thing, right?
No,
Do you
that's
not have an intuition on that?
that's
Okay,
true.
is my mic working
Actually, that's a
now?
good point, Confluence.
Can you hear me now?
The debate we're reviewing is
Yes.
based on that,
In the moment.
but we've got off into a moral discussion.
Sorry, what was that?
And
Yeah, we hear you.
Yes.
Okay, good, because I got some earbuds, so I hope this works. I think basically there is objective morality.
Way better.
It is in a sense. So I'm kind of like I think it's divine command theory it's called, but basically I think morality depends on the will of God.
I thought you were into Kant.
Yeah, you bring up Kant all the time. Kirk is stun locked.
Can you hear us? I don't know.
Kirk is absolutely stun locked.
Tap 1 for like yes, that. 2 for no.
Yeah, I don't think.
We've been talking about bro getting headphones for like 3 streams, and he's like, "Oh, I just found some headphones." Like
the audio input to his earbuds, or the output maybe.
Yeah, this is a good thing because now basically my mic is working. I also don't even think Circa is an atheist. I think he's agnostic.
Yeah, and he also said
he's a bad agnostic, just like Testy's a bad atheist.
Well, he also, I'm not even close to atheist, but like but Circa also, he says later on that I think he does believe in like some level of objective morality. He just doesn't ground it in like it's the divinity or whatever. He said he leans that direction. I don't think it's a hard stance.
I hate people that do that. Just stand 10 toes down on nihilism and just say you can grape anyone you want and it's all Gucci.
So hold on.
Just fucking say that.
Clear,
you should do that with divine command theory.
You have to believe that atheism is possible. Right? You have to, otherwise you can't be agnostic.
I'm sorry, say that again, Alex.
To be agnostic, you must believe that atheism is possible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in terms of the prompt of this debate, I absolutely believe that a lack of belief is possible. That seems like
I'm just saying.
Well, the argument about atheism being impossible is that basically, if you define atheism as lack of belief in God, and if you define God as the highest value in a hierarchy of values, then you can say everyone has the highest value, so everyone believes in God.
Well, there's also different.
He's going to be using that. Yeah, I don't think
there's also different. There's also different levels of atheism, right? Like some of them take it's like strong atheism is basically declaring there is no God.
Yeah, which is a negative claim, but it's also like there is some burden of proof if you're asserting that, right? As opposed to just it's a lack of belief. It's like a
if you're making an assertion, there's a certain burden of proof to make that declarative statement. Whereas like agnostic, I would say agnostic more fits the description what you were talking about, just lack of belief.
No, if you say sorry, I know this is very pedantic and a little bit gay for lack of a better term, but agnostic is saying I don't know. So you're talking about like it's your claim on knowledge, whereas atheism would be a claim on belief.
Definitionally, that would require a lack of faith, correct?
A lack of faith, sure, but I'm saying one is a knowledge claim, one is a belief claim. So those are different.
You have to have a lack of certainty in faith.
Well,
right?
There's semantic overload with agnostic too.
Some amount of faith and be agnostic, but because
that's why I said lack
any certainty in the faith.
Sure. For the purpose of the conversation, I don't want to get too autistic, but I can accept that at face value.
On back to the video. Okay, we're making
headway.
What he means by that.
And Confluence, you never read the fucking thing I sent you.
And whether or not like there's an induction.
No, I got home and I immediately just made.
No, I sent it to you after you started the stream.
Oh well, yeah, it's hard for me to read DMs during a stream.
I said it in chat too.
You
got a super chat. I'm telling them to read Discord.
I can't.
That's the only way.
Shut off my camera for a second here. I need to do something really quick. I'll be right back.
Stuff.
It's fine.
I was gonna say it's anti-Semitic stuff, but it's not all anti-Semitic. To be fair, it's just 90%.
Robust grounding in 90%. Or is it just presupposing the grounding again. And then I think when it comes to a little bit of the errors, I also heard. Sorry, I'm trying to remember this a little bit, but I heard a little bit of a modal error there in the beginning. And then I think this is still a little bit of a category error. But my main questions I just want to hear would probably be how you can just assume that there's an obvious logic happening in the fact that an immaterial concept is just
that's actually true.
Only capable from an immaterial mind. And if that means that you are just presupposing a theoretical framework on it. And then
should not take it out of the box.
It's still in the box.
If you say I can't justify logic, okay. Are you grounding this in something, or is that the grounding argument itself? Is that a proof that atheism is still unreal, like the prompt says, or are we just trying to prove falsity? And I think I'll end my time there.
All right. Thank you for that rebuttal. And that is going to wrap up the rebuttal round. So we're going to be moving into the open hour back and forth. Just let me talk to the audience.
I just have had actually not enough time to even open up a box and plug in a monitor, unironically.
And also subscribe to tonight's debaters. Their links are in the description. We host all kinds of debates here on Swords of Reasons, politics, culture, ethics, internet.
I love you, Speakeasy, but skip.
You may not want to thank the arena. I'll start
with my concepts,
with your voice.
Yeah, I'll start. So with my argument, the transcendental categories, do you disagree that they are immaterial universal concepts?
I don't think so. No, that would
okay.
That would be
so what
it would be immaterial. Yeah.
Okay, so what part of immaterial universal concepts must come from immaterial universal minds do you have a problem with?
Not so much that part. It's more about the statement that it obviously follows using logic. So are you aware of what deduction is versus abduction and then transcendental when it comes to arguments?
Maybe not as well as you do.
I mean, one of the problems with Sirka is I wonder how he would justify transcendent. If naturalism is true and we're a result of evolution, how would our brains evolve to understand immaterial concepts if we're solely material? Unless he's not a materialist.
I don't know what Zerka is.
I don't think he makes a materialist argument or a naturalistic argument, but I'm not 100%.
It's true.
I mean, I've heard that argument.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Oh shit. Okay. Well. Okay. I was gonna say I heard that a similar argument to what you're saying. I don't know if it's like super valid or not, but like valid in a colloquial sense. But people saying that like, why would we? I think I heard this from Alex O'Connor at one point that like when people say that if we're evolved, then why would we assume that we're obviously not evolved to like find truth? We're evolved to like survive, and that's why we have a bunch of like cognitive biases and like other issues. So then why would we think we can trust any of our faculties to get to truth at all? So if we accept evolution and is not guided by God, then how can we even enter into this like philosophical landscape at all? Because we weren't evolved to even do that. So why would we think that our own mind isn't just being deceptive at all times? Why do we think we can even approach truth claims?
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Then we're not evolved, or we're in a land of deception.
Well, because we have to live as if we have truth claims, otherwise we don't have the ability to do anything, right?
I agree.
Well, right, but then they're not actually like truth claims necessarily, right? We're using like faulty machinery to try to like figure stuff out.
Didn't you tell me before the only thing you're certain of is that you think, therefore you are?
Well, yeah.
So you just lowered the degree of certainty you require to believe the things you see and hear around you.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
No, not at all. What do you mean?
Is anyone here familiar with the concept of like Bayesian inference? Like, what Bayesian inference says that if you have two hypotheses, it's something like if you have a hypothesis, you should increase your credibility in the hypothesis as the evidence increases. And I think that our cognitive faculties prove to something immaterial, because if it were solely material, how do we have such advanced cognitive processes?
Well, that to me is working a little bit backwards, because, like, I guess when we talk about like how we, I guess, gain information about the external world, these are slowly done in physical terms. Like, we cannot study the immaterial because it's immaterial, right?
I mean, why can't we study the immaterial using logic?
Well, but then you can make I could make Kant's argument and say that that's like a product of cognition, right? Which is his transcendental like way of not even embracing this argument. It doesn't.
Yeah, but Kant wasn't a materialist; he was a transcendental idealist.
But this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm putting up a different transcendental like argument, basically to say that well then you can substitute one for the other and say, okay, well in the tag case they're just saying it's immaterial mind or whatever, which is God, and then the other it's like it's a product of your cognition, and that is the transcendental element. I'm basically saying that, like, because I guess I could be a little bit more precise when I'm saying that you can't study like immaterial things. Like, we can accept things like consciousness and these like non-physical like things, right? But I feel like I don't know. You might have to say it again, because it felt like it felt kind of backwards to me. But maybe I'm maybe I'm getting tripped up already.
Well, so it's like this. We have two worlds. One where there's something immaterial and one where there's something material. What's a better hypothesis for explaining advanced cognitive processes? And I think that it's abduction, right? It's inference to the best causal explanation. And I think immaterialism is a better causal explanation for advanced cognitive processes than materialism.
That's totally fair. And I think Circuit gets into this, but it is abductive, right? So it's not like it is kind of best guess that like it could be it seems like the most plausible explanation, which is fine.
Rationality dictates that we believe in the best guess.
Are you talking about like Occam's razor?
No, Occam's razor is specifically about not multiplying entities beyond necessity. I'm talking about more broadly. When we're dealing with rationality, we have to infer to the best guess. We can never be 100% certain sometimes when it comes to scientific theories, but we infer the best scientific theory.
I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, but I can rest my laurels on best guess. But I'm saying when the people who are advocating for
Never heard of it.
some universal objective moral standard are saying that the inverse is impossible and therefore
he's got all the
their
answers.
version must be correct.
Is he an
atheist? I don't know if that's what he's arguing, but that could be what he's arguing.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
That was gay. But I'm gonna play the video. That's so gay, though. Both of you are so gay. I hated every moment of that.
It hurts my feelings when you say things like that. Confidence.
I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than a self-bashing gay guy.
I thought you liked me.
Yeah, see, you hurt both our feelings.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I just, there's a lot of like nonsense, a lot of chicanery. Okay,
arguments.
This is not a chair react. I have to pee. I can't pause the video, but I can still hear y'all.
So what is the core question? Yeah.
I would say that would be the core question.
So, yeah, I guess. So what must be true for this?
We'll hear you pee too.
So what
Don't worry.
If we're doing immaterial concept, immaterial mind?
If we're immaterial concept to an immaterial mind, well,
what is the necessary condition and what is possible there, or what must be true there for it to be possible?
It must be true that if something is immaterial, what produces it must also be immaterial.
And why would anybody accept that?
Because, for example,
pretend like I'm some kind of college-educated, philosophical, logical expert. I'm making an argument. Deductively concluding that like that which is material.
Deductive is logic, right?
We're both using logic. Well, no, we're both using logic. What the transcendental argument is doing is asking a metalogical question about the possibility of logic. Now, again,
logic in though. That's necessary 100%.
Well, I'm saying you can't take logic. Right? You can't take logic out of any statement that is presupposed. But what the atheist does is presupposes it arbitrarily and ad hoc. And where I'm really coming with the kill shot for this particular prompt. Is the metaphysical side of it. Is what is it about the metaphysic of your world that gets you to universal invariant laws in a world that is strictly material, strictly particular, chaotic flux?
I mean, there's a lot of arguments. Like I for one, am a big fan of Kant. Obviously, it's a little bit of a difference.
Does Sierkart even knows? Does he even know what he just said?
I don't think that's the prompt, right? I mean, falsity.
I feel like I missed a little bit. I think Kirk didn't realize when I said I couldn't pause the video, Kirk. You shouldn't be talking for so long.
Kirk was making a good point, I think. But
then you wait until I come back so I can pause the video so I'm not hearing, fuck you.
That's on you. That's on you,
I pee all over the bathroom.
Also heard you
freaking triggered in there.
We also heard you pee all over the bathroom.
Hey, what? Sorry, Brandon, go ahead.
No, I wish he would ask, like, at least do a little bit of semantic analysis. He's using words like immaterial, universal. They arbitrarily presuppose the laws of logic. Like, what does that even mean? Like, he's not even asking, what do you mean by that? He just starts talking back to him as if he understood him. Maybe he did understand him, but I'm like having trouble tracking because this isn't how the language is typically used. So I actually don't even know how he's using it.
And like I will, the one little small caveat I'll add, and I think one of my frustrations, especially when the open panel happens later. I've said this before, like philosophy is not like a debate bro thing. Like I feel like you can't bludgeon people over certain like there has to be some level of grace because people are going to be interpreting things in different fashions. So you have to have an understanding of like concepts and things like that. But when you're saying like, you're making such definitive statements, like it must be this way, like it has to definitionally, and when you start, it's like, well, that's exactly.
Yeah, Var. I mean, feel free to post a link in there if you want. I'm always looking for arguments to defeat.
It's exactly where the contention always lies. So it is just weird to see it in a debate pro sort of like format. Like it's just, to me, it's not conducive to philosophy. Is how it's
when they started off this though, Eli did ask him. Basically, he laid out some terms of the immaterial transcendental concepts, and Circa agreed. So he agreed with the definition. So I think that's why they just kind of moved on. He doesn't seem to be contending, challenging.
That's fair. I agree.
I agree.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be like challenging it directly. And I agree with you. Even just from a debate structure, whatever side, it would be good to go into what do you mean by these things? What do you mean by this word you're using? What does it mean to you? So we're not, at least we're not like talking past each other at least for that.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Yeah, I mean, one of the problems here is also I don't think that this other guy, what's the name of the guy who's debating Circa?
Eli.
Eli, I don't think Eli knows much about post like Aquinas philosophy. Like I think he's like one of these guys who like reads Aquinas and thinks.
Why would
that's
that matter if he's asking Circa for his definition? Like he hasn't anytime Circa. Like if Circa doesn't agree to his definition, that's fine. But if Circa doesn't have any definition, he's just using a word with no definition. Nothing to say to that.
All right, boys. Good talk.
Yeah, good talk. Yeah, we just got done saying that Eli had asked him if he agreed with the transcendental concepts, and then Circa agreed. So that's why they're not really having a back and forth on definitions.
I was just going to say, I don't know. I'm not necessarily defending Circa, but I think if you're going to talk about philosophy, it's important to know philosophy, like some of the ideas in the history of philosophy, like where does logic come from, and like what are the transcendental arguments, not just.
So like the greatest philosophers we know today, did they all like just like know philosophy and like read up on it to like become the greatest philosophers, or
a lot of them, yeah.
How that works?
A lot of philosophers build on previous philosophers' work, right?
Okay, so let's keep going back.
Sure.
Is there not a time where a philosopher didn't grow off another philosopher?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Even philosophers, even modern philosophers don't all grow off of other philosophers.
Well, look, I agree. You can have completely novel concepts.
Be right back.
But when you're using terms that have been contextualized and recontextualized by previous philosophers, that's why like distinctions are important. Otherwise, you get into like a private language thing where somebody's going to use a term in a completely novel way and not really have a context for how it's been used previously.
Well, yeah, I can agree with that, but if someone's like clearly stating how they're using it, but then the other side won't, that's the barrier, right? Like you can't come, like the semantics here are important because they can't have a conversation without talking past each other if one has no definition and one has a strict definition.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think the comment that Mo and even Brand says that's kind of what we would have liked to have seen a little bit, is that they, rather than just throwing something back, like kind of ask for these clarifications as they go, because I think, as you said, the semantics and the definitions do matter.
But you know,
by this word or
you know what's more important than all of that, guys. Wait, you know what's more important than all of that?
What?
There's a place in France where the naked ladies dance. There's a hole in the wall where the men can see it all.
Hell yeah, dude.
I haven't heard that in so long.
Well, that's because it's a symbol and it's not Constantinople.
Confluence, we can't hear you if you're talking.
Yeah, you're muted. Probably for the best.
Confluence is doing a Kirk right now.
Professional streamer.
Does he know that he can't be heard?
Professional political analyst, streamer, debater.
Shut the fuck up.
There he is.
Test? Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
See, when I paid for those
how long was I muted?
That would have been great, Brandon.
How long was I freaking muted?
That's true.
Kirk gets a mute. Can I pay? Is it illegal for me to, or against the US for me to pay money to myself to mute Kirk for a little bit longer? I'm not actually sure about that. I'll lose 30%, but it's probably worth it if you think about it. But yeah, the thing I was saying, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure when. I don't know how long I was muted for. I guess my mic got fucked. But yeah, the whole thing that Kirk was saying, that you need to know the history. I don't understand that really at all. Like, if you're talking about a specific use case of a word, like if you're talking about a Kierkegaard and the way he defined the self, then obviously you have to know about Kierkegaard. But if you're talking about the self as defined by someone else, then you don't have to give a shit about Kierkegaard. You're giving your own definition, or you're giving a philosopher's definition. Either way, you're defining it. Well, I don't know why you'd have to know the whole history of philosophy to like make a cogent statement on a philosophical topic.
Well, I don't think you should like have a complete understanding.
But Kirk was saying you should know the post Aquinas, like, you know,
yeah.
like,
well, no, like, because I think of somebody like Heidegger, because Heidegger uses the word like logos and ethos and all these like things that Greek philosophers used, but he is like maybe not reimagines, but he reinterprets the way that they're used. And then Nietzsche does a lot of the same stuff with like Christian thinkers. So if you don't have that basis, basically it's kind of saying that you don't really understand the context of why they're saying what they're saying.
If you're talking about like Nietzsche or something, sure.
Well, yeah, I don't know about the Aquinas type stuff, but
it's also like this. If you're talking about
you're muted, you little shit.
You could just explain the context. That's the whole thing I'm trying to get to here. Is like,
no, I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah, so like you to be honest, if you break it down, you could actually have a perfectly fine philosophical debate without knowing any philosophy. Before I had studied philosophy, I had a lot of philosophical debates amongst my boys that I didn't realize even were philosophical debates, right? So like the whole idea of like, what is truth? Do we have free will? What makes something right? What makes something wrong? These things, this is not owned by any philosophers. So they didn't need degrees, and you don't need any type of degrees now, right? You didn't need a book. You didn't need any of this stuff. You needed a brain. That's what philosophy is about, your brain.
Yeah, I don't think we need like a philosophical lexicon to have these discussions. If we're being logical and defining our terms, I think it's fine. I do think, and I don't know if you noticed this in real time, Speakeasy, or not, but this is my theory, because we heard Zerka in his opener is like talking to his chat, it seems, and then he unmutes and he says, "Oh, I thought that was the rebuttal." So it seems like he had an opener prepared, but then he got confused and gave his rebuttal during the opener, and that's why his opener is so weak. So maybe in his opener, he would have tried to like give his own arguments and define things how he wanted them defined. I'm not really sure. Yeah, because it seems like he missed that.
That's possible. No, if that ever, if that is the case, and if anyone that ever happens with in the future, just say something, bro. It's nothing to be like, oh shit, okay.
Well, he was
muted.
Fucked that up. Yeah, he was muted. He was talking to his own stream, and then he unmuted very briefly, and he said, "I thought that was the rebuttal or something." So that's why his opener was like 3 minutes, because I think he thought that he was doing a rebuttal. It's his own error.
Possible.
Just real quick, Confluence, how long do you want me muted for?
You're free now, Craig. I was just nervous to unmute you if you're going to say some chicanery.
I just wanted to say that I think that it's complicated, because I think philosophy, like any subject matter, there's a history of ideas. Like in physics, you learn about Newton, and then you learn about Einstein, and then you learn about quantum. And I think the same thing is with philosophy. You don't start off with advanced philosophical concepts before you understand the basic laws of logic and the basic history of it. But that's just my opinion.
I guess, learning
the basics before the more advanced stuff is one thing, but learning the history to know all that other stuff, I don't know why that would necessarily be relevant.
Right, science is like,
I don't think philosophy
is
something you study first. This is the problem. It's something you've already been doing every time you open your mouth about something that you consider as truth. That's what you're doing. Is you're doing philosophy. That's the whole idea. If reading philosophers doesn't like give you some like more authority on philosophy. It just doesn't.
That's not what TikTok told me.
I would disagree.
It just shows how much better you could be doing it, I guess.
I mean, I would disagree, but anyway, it's not really productive to
My
have
mic
debate
was
about
muted.
this,
I'm
so
back
we can
now.
move on.
Well, I just don't know why you disagree. That's all.
Well, I think I explained it. There's a hierarchy of knowledge. You start with basic concepts, and you learn more advanced concepts. And with philosophy, the value in reading older philosophers is you can understand the hierarchy of concepts that they developed. But
a hierarchy of concepts. What do you mean by that?
Well, so for
your mic.
Your mic is fucked, Kirk.
Hello?
Oh,
you're back.
That's him. It's a repeating pattern.
Yeah, what I was just saying was that basically you start with concepts like, okay, what are the laws of logic? And then you might go on to more advanced metaphysical or ontological claims.
Well,
but you can learn those concepts without learning the history. That's what at least I want to separate.
That's what I mean. And like think about something like for a minute, just like truth, reality, knowledge, morality, logic, like you're saying. Anytime you say, if you've ever had any type of like thought in your mind before you've read philosophers about what is truth and had this discussion or debate, that is philosophy you're doing. You understand, right?
I'm not denying that you're doing philosophy. I'm just saying that some people, in the same way that you might learn about physics by learning about the history of physics, some people like to learn the history of ideas so they can understand where ideas develop from.
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say here, but this is what leads people to going, according to Kant, Nietzsche said, like that's what it leads people to without like thinking for themselves, right? Like you can.
Well, I think no. Wait. I want to be very clear. I want to be very clear about this. I think thinking for yourself is literally one of the dumbest ideas ever. Like if
thinking for yourself, bro. Listen to me. You can read 100 philosophers. One says free will exists. One say it doesn't. One says it's contingent on, or it's we have a free will illusion. One says we have half a free will. It's there's no consistency within philosophers. So what would that tell me about free will? How would that help me break down anything about free will? Listening to all these philosophers that don't agree with each other. Use your brain, guy. God gave you a Lamborghini right here, bro. You gotta drive that shit sometimes.
Thinking for yourself, did you learn to wipe your ass before your parents taught you?
Did I learn to wipe my ass before my parents taught me? No.
Got you there.
Okay, so your parents stopped for you when they taught you the basic life skill of wiping your ass.
Yeah, a basic skill. What's that?
Did he have to learn the history of wiping asses before he learned to wipe his ass, though?
Okay.
Right.
Wait, did
my mother have to read a book on how to wipe asses before she taught me how to wipe my ass? Is that what you think?
I thought
or did she just know how to do it because of her mother before her?
And did you wipe your ass the exact same way from when you were a toddler to where you are now, or did you get better at it over time by using your own reasoning? Like, if I use it this way, it might work better.
You're never gonna solely think for yourself. We rely on systems of trust with other people to think for us if they know what they're talking about.
That is so. Wait, I need to.
Wild.
I mean, you do that, but like, speak for yourself, my guy.
I got a dip, so I'll just give like a very small, like maybe a tiny steel man of. Because what I've always said is I agree with Speakeasy in the more broad sense. I don't like the idea of philosophy being gatekept because, like, it is true. Like, you just have these questions when you're a kid and you're having conversations with your friends or whatever. You're like, look out at the stars, and you're like, man, what the fuck is out there? And you're just talking in your own terms, right? I think like the value of sort of reading philosophers is that it gives you, all it does is really give you like a better language, a better way to convey these ideas that already exist in your head.
So I think that's not it at all, because the fact is,
that's the argument about that, but That's my last 2 cents. But I'll catch you guys later. I appreciate
Well, anyway, goodbye, guys.
See you, dude.
Goodbye, Tesla.
Later.
I
Seven,
used to just
Testy.
like look for the word that means what I'm thinking of too. So like that's how you can help with your language as well, right?
Yeah, it seems to be like almost a weird appeal to authority.
One of the problems with contemporary culture is that so many people think for themselves that you have people who have never read a book on Israel or Palestine saying Israel's committing genocide when they haven't read any book on
but you're pivoting to an area where you actually would need to know the history, right? Like that.
Think for yourself
that's
doesn't
the
mean
symmetry
don't
breaker.
read, bro. Just so we're clear. Think for yourself doesn't mean don't read.
It does. That is the definition of thinking for yourself.
The definition of think for yourself is
that's
don't
crazy,
read.
bro.
That'd be hard. So thinking. Let's break the whole sentence down. Think. Can you tell us what that
Testing
means?
one.
I'm trying to think.
You're doing it right now.
I mean,
you're doing it.
You're doing it right now.
I can't give you a specific definition for think because cognition is so broad.
Well, this is fine. Okay, this is fine. And this is my point here. It doesn't mean, right? It doesn't mean don't read books. That's not what it means, right? You believe that now that you couldn't come for a definition on just the first word. So the whole sentence doesn't mean don't read books, right?
Think for yourself. When most people
you can read a multitude of books and think about the content that you are consuming and break it down logically if this makes sense, if this reflects to reality, if you've had experience of this kind. Like, you can think for yourself. That's what we do every day. When we make a choice, right? We usually think on usually people will think on like the outcome of the choice they're making and the possible outcomes.
Okay.
That's usually what people do. They like weigh the risks of their choices. How do you do that? You think for yourself, bro. It doesn't mean don't educate yourself. I would never tell somebody, just don't ever educate yourself, bro.
To some extent.
You're taking in other people's ideas, right? But like, I can read like Derrida. I don't like Derrida. I can read him and I can like analyze his thoughts and then come to my own conclusion about what he said. So yeah, there is like an aspect where to truly, I think, understand a book, you want to kind of like try to like go with it and be like, okay, I'm going to put myself in this guy's mind. But then at the end, you kind of remove yourself, right? And now you're like analyzing it and thinking, okay, like what was this? Is this, now you're in the thinking for yourself, you're analyzing the ideas, right? Like, I get what you're saying, that you are to some extent taking on someone else's ideas if you're reading something honestly and trying to understand it. But that doesn't mean, at the end, you're just like, well, I uncritically accept whatever the latest book I read, told me to think. Like, maybe, and I don't think you mean that either. So I feel like, I don't know if we're just talking past each other.
Maybe this
and
is
listen, I'm just thinking about this too. I was just thinking about this too. If some parent was an asshole and never taught their kid to wipe their own ass, you don't think that a human being would get to a certain age where they'd see the toilet paper, see the toilet, and feel the fucking crusty shit on their ass so much that they'd come to the conclusion of wiping their own ass after they shit?
They would come to the conclusion, but it would be so much more efficient if the parent taught that.
There we go. But they would come to the conclusion by thinking for themselves. So even wiping your own ass, you could think for yourself to figure it out.
Okay, but okay. This is a semantic argument that's not really valuable. But the point is that as long as you acknowledge
are important.
As long as you acknowledge that expertise is important, then we agree.
Expertise is important in philosophy debates? I would say no.
Yeah, I think out of almost all the areas, and I like philosophy, but I think the expertise is probably the least important in philosophy. Like, because you're comparing to stuff like physics and then Israel Palestine, and I mean both of those things. Yeah, you obviously you have to know like subject matter stuff to talk about those things cogently. But with like philosophy, as I think we all acknowledge, right? You can do philosophy and you can gain a lot from it without knowing any of the fancy terms or without reading any of the fancy books, right? And yeah, you might get better language or hear better arguments or nuance your thoughts more. but you can still like start with like nothing and still like do philosophy. You can't really do Israel Palestine if you don't know anything about Israel Palestine, right? You can't do physics if you know nothing about physics, you know?
Then I suppose the fundamental disagreement I have is that I don't think philosophy is just thinking about big questions. I think there is a specific tradition of thought that constitutes philosophy. But in any event, it's a kind of a meta point, and I don't really want to continue having this conversation.
W.
It's all right to admit you're wrong sometimes, bro. I admit I'm wrong when I'm wrong, so it's okay.
I'm not acknowledging I'm wrong. I'm just saying it's not worth the argument.
Bro, speaking, he's rage baiting Kirk right now. That's what that was.
No, I'm not rage baiting. I'm just being honest.
It's okay to admit you're wrong, bro. That's rage baiting.
How's that rage baiting?
Kirk is easily rage baited in, though.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Damn, if that's how easy it is to rage bait someone. Damn, I've been doing shit wrong.
This is the internet, bro. You know.
At least I got my mic fixed. We can all celebrate that.
That's true.
That's true. It's taking you 5 fucking streams, but you did it.
It's taking me like 2 or 3 streams.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. See, I can admit when I'm wrong, Kirk. You see that? I just did it. Yeah. It was only 2 or 3 streams.
Actually, this,
I am curious with this argument about Circa and Eli. Is Eli, so his argument seems to be that immaterial ideas must have an immaterial mind, and laws of logic exist regardless of the human mind. So there must be an immaterial mind outside the human mind. But how does he know that the laws of logic would exist if there were no human minds?
Did we invent laws of logic, or did we discover them?
Yeah.
One could easily argue we invent them through our reasoning processes.
Shit.
The only steelman I would give, and Brandon probably knows about this. Oh, obviously Brandon probably knows about this. Is the law of excluded middle? I know there's a branch of like logic, for example, that like denies that just on its face. So it takes one of the 3 laws.
I just want to ask, who was that, Kirk? Kirk, so like there's like, you think if there's no humans, like a tree could be both a tree and a juice box at the same time.
Well, I'm an idealist, so I don't believe if there were no human minds that there would, or if there was no mind at all. I think God can create trees, but I think if there's no mind at all, I don't see how there could be a tree.
And does it take human minds to make those trees go on? Or could those trees live without humans?
I think they could exist without humans if there's God perceiving them.
That's right.
But the question is, is there a God?
You can get skills from other people, but you can't study the world beyond material by reading books.
The question is whether God exists.
You can gain different philosophical thoughts process to make sense of it from a logical standpoint. But this guy was saying that basically
I think if there's no
he doesn't
mind
believe
to
in
perceive,
thinking. Like he
he
thinks thinking for yourself is bad, which is a bold claim.
Wait a minute.
God is a mind.
I think I might actually agree.
The material around us. Do you think
no. He's saying God. He's saying God is a mind, and I think I would almost, because I think God does hold all of existence together actively, and I feel like that's kind of similar to what Kirk is saying.
To say that all of this only exists because God himself is thinking of it at this moment.
It's a big claim, but I don't know if it's like, it's not as ridiculous as just saying that it's like, if we stopped existing, right? Like that's not what Kirk is saying, to be fair to Kirk.
It is
he's saying that
claim because everything in existence so far tends
to I think of it like
Mel,
this.
You might be unmuted. Sorry, it's a timer.
If there is no human mind or God,
it just came up, Mel. It just came up.
If there is no human mind or God, then I think there couldn't be a tree. But I think God exists, so I think God perceives to make the tree exist.
The tree would still be there. You just wouldn't have a concept of a tree.
Do you
think the material world ceases to exist entirely?
He's answering a different question is what's going on. So that
I'm asking. I know. I just want to know, do you think the material world ceases to exist entirely? Or do you think that it's just no longer what it is?
That's why, like, this is what Eli's argument, right, is that the laws of logic, right, are universal concepts. A concept comes from a mind, right? So for this to exist universally, it can't come from a particular mind. It would have to come from a universal mind, right? And that's where he tries to get Circa too, because the way the tag argument goes is you have to get to the universal mind and then get to the Christian God from there, right? A lot of people try to jump straight from the right through to the Christian God, but then everybody gets caught up in like scripture and stuff here. You have to do that part after, or else you'll never get to that part.
Why does a concept need a universal mind?
Well, what a universal concept.
How can you have
what is universal
existence
doing there?
without
No,
just hold on.
Existence is a
you
concept.
citing the laws of logic, right? Is that something that we're discovering or something we're manufacturing?
Wait, but I want to know.
Alex first. Hold on, Kirk.
So when we came up with this universal law of logic, we didn't like create it. We just realized something that was already there. So why is that a concept that has to exist within a universal mind for it to just be the case?
Is it a concept?
We created a concept to give it shape because we need a way to speak about it, right?
Right, but would that concept exist without your mind?
The concept itself would not exist, but the thing itself that our concept is mirroring would. The thing we discovered would exist regardless of whether we were here to name it or not. We just named it the laws of logic.
Right, and regardless if it had a different name, it would still exist.
Or realized by any sentient being.
Sorry, you cut out there.
Is there a difference between saying it's
Is
true?
my stream going like this, or is this?
No, it's just a lot of audio issues today.
It's not you. It's
dropped.
Okay.
Once a lot of Timu mics in the panel.
No, my phone likes to drop my Bluetooth intermittently for some.
A lot of McDonald's Wi-Fi in the panel.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yes.
But yeah, my point is, the law of logic is just a name we gave to something that already existed. We're not giving it meaning. The meaning is there. We're just discovering the meaning.
Right. That's what Nix would say too, right?
So why does that need a universal mind?
Well, if he's saying it's true independent of anybody's mind, right? It's not a universal concept. At least with what, if I'm understanding Alex right, it would just be some sort of universal truth, not a concept.
What is
it's
true?
a universal truth.
Well, that's a different question.
We manufactured a concept to represent it.
Wait,
right, but it's like Alex.
Sorry, I didn't. Yes, I agree with what Brendan just said.
Who the hell's
thing
Brendan?
Itself exists whether.
Oh, Brandon.
Brandon, yeah. The thing itself exists whether we're here to perceive it or not. We're just giving it a name, and that name may not exist, but it doesn't change the thing itself.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes,
Var, you can send a
eternal.
voice message if you want, bud.
Well,
We're not. The question isn't when they existed, right? It's the what.
I don't think there's
kind of
any.
thing they are.
I think you should have the rights to send
grounds
voice
them.
chat.
What grounds them is the rules of existence that we currently exist within.
The rules of existence. Okay,
Right,
whatever
but
you want to call them.
Immaterial concept, right?
You've already
gravity,
so that's
does
fine.
gravity
So now
exist?
you've already committed to.
Hold
Just
on.
so you know,
Does-
you've already
does
committed
gravity
to
exist without an
eternal,
independent mind?
unchanging, right? Eternal, unchanging, universal, and non-physical, right?
Well, no, it's rooted in the physical.
What?
It's rooted within the physical.
When you say that, I want to know exactly what you mean.
When you say A, hold on, A can never be not A. You're referring to an object. We can extract that to other things, but you're just referring to an object. You're saying a rock can never be not a rock.
Okay, so logic depends on the physical world.
Well, it's based on the understanding of the physical world.
You don't get to sneak in different language. Does logic depend on the physical world?
If the physical world didn't exist, there would be nothing. There'd be no logic. Correct.
So if the physical world were different, logic would be different.
when you say the physical world, you're just talking about the Earth itself, or all of physics?
Yeah, the physical world. Logic would be different.
Which one are you talking about?
Like the universe, obviously, not just like planet Earth.
Yeah, if gravity made things go up instead of down, we wouldn't say that gravity.
That's not a logic thing, though, right? That's not a logic thing.
You know what logic is?
Yeah, if a plant.
I'm asking you. Listen to me.
Yeah.
You say the laws of logic depends on the physical world. So if the physical world right now were different, logic would be different.
Can you conceive of a physical world that would be different enough the logic would not be the same?
Can you?
Yeah.
I can't. Oh, yeah? So contradictions could be true in another universe?
Yes, of course. It'd be contradictions to us, but it wouldn't be contradictions to that universe.
Oh, so your argument... Okay, just...
It's many worlds.
So logic doesn't depend on the physical world.
That's not...
Which
that's
means it's not rooted in the physical.
That's not what I said at all.
Say it again.
What I'm saying is the rules of logic or the understanding of the universe as we know it right now is because we live in the universe as it is. If the universe were different, we would have a different understanding of it. If
So
it had different rules,
let me just...
the
So
current
2
rules
plus...
of logic
But
may
that's
not
not the
apply.
same as logic being different, because logic is not just a different state of the universe. Logic is how we categorize things axiomatically.
Right.
I love how you went to it's universal to it's not universal.
I didn't go to anything saying anything is not universal.
Yes, you did.
What did I say is not universal?
If contradictions could be true in another universe, then that means logic can change, then it's not universal. So then that means your argument isn't universally binding anymore.
And you use the word universe, you're talking about a pocket of existence.
Wait, I don't think that's what people mean when they say universal. I don't think they just mean within our physical universe.
Universal means always. It's always this way. Can't be another way. That's what it means.
Then no, nothing is universal.
Nothing is universal.
Yeah, I guess if that's the way you want to say universal.
That's crazy, Alex.
The universe could hold on. If you're saying
It's
the universe
crazy.
could not exist in any other way, then nothing is universal.
In a way where like A equals not A, I don't think it can. Maybe the law of excluded middle. That one's kind of gay.
For you to say another universe could exist, could it not exist at the same time?
It would be a different universe. I don't know. I don't have a
Wait,
concept.
what do you mean you don't know?
I don't know what a
could something exist and not exist at the same time?
What is nothingness?
Why are you answering my question?
Because you're asking me to abstract a universe that I can't really conceive of because it doesn't.
That's right. You just lied a minute ago and said you could conceive of this world. See how that works?
Conceive of a universe where the rules are different.
No, you can't. Then tell us how that works.
I just told
Draw
you.
us a
Gravity
picture of
fell
a
up
universe
instead of
that
down.
exists and doesn't exist at the same time. Go ahead.
Yeah, it said if gravity went.
That's
up
not a
instead of
logic
down,
thing, Alex. That's exactly what you gave before. There's nothing to do. Can you? It sounds like you can maybe conceive of it being possible that there could be a universe in which logic is different, but you can't actually conceive of what that could possibly look like at all. Because blending to gravity makes no sense.
Conceive of.
Right, but then why say you can conceive of it though? If you think about it, because then that's confusing.
The laws are different. Logic is based on the laws of the universe that we understand, right? If rocks suddenly mutated into bicycles, it'd be really hard to say A equals not A is
no, it wouldn't be at all. That's not how the laws of logic work.
I just want to know.
Alex, you're just like wrong. You're just wrong about that.
Would not persist.
Somebody who believes in nothing is universal should never be taken seriously or be debated. Because if nothing is universal, nobody should take. That means truth isn't universal. Meaning isn't universal.
Is matter universal?
Universal. Everything you say is
matter universal.
Why should anybody take what you say?
Is energy universal?
Debates require universal concepts, universal
Hold on, is
reality.
matter universal?
Is required in debate.
Is matter universal?
Oh my gosh, what is that? Where are we
can you
going with
answer a
this?
question instead of jumping to, oh my gosh? Can you answer?
Where are we going with this?
Is matter universal? Doesn't matter.
I'm not the one who denies universals, though. You understand
Is
this?
matter
I would say
universal?
no.
No,
I would say
it's
no.
not. It's not. But why?
Okay, so what would a universe without matter look like?
Maybe everything's just made of energy.
A
Who knows?
universe without matter?
Mhm.
It'd be like it'd probably be empty darkness. That's what I'd picture, like a big empty darkness.
Empty of matter?
Picture it.
You mean nothingness? It would be an empty nothingness.
No, I didn't say that. Are you gonna try and change my answer for me? Do you want to answer my question
I'm
for me?
trying to understand why you're saying darkness. What is
darkness?
have to do
You
with
know, when
matter?
you close your eyes for a minute. That's what I think it would look like.
Yeah.
Close your eyes. That's
So
what
we define it with the absence of matter.
In that world
Light
with
is
no
a
matter,
basis of energy,
like
right?
a empty void, like just this darkness. Fucking, you can just keep moving. Have you ever played Assassin's Creed: The Loading Screen? That's what it would be, bro. That you're just running through an empty void of darkness. Close your eyes. That's what it would be. That's what I picture. See how I can envision that? Because that's
No, you
that
really can't.
fits logically. It's
You
logically
really can't
possible.
because you're not describing a universe void of matter. You're describing a universe void of everything.
Is that right?
Alex,
I don't think you know what nothing is. Oh wow!
Hold on, did I say energy or just matter?
Hold on. Literally nothing.
No, but Alex, even with other stuff, like even with dreams, you think it's impossible to have a world that's, let's say, is in an idealism land where it's just like a dream world where there's no matter. That wouldn't make sense to talk about matter. The laws of logic obviously would still apply, right? Like, and I feel like the way you're talking about laws of logic is that's not many worlds. Everyone's confused here. Well, just specifically,
you rely on a parallel universe. You rely on a parallel universe to make your claim.
Yeah, but you were saying before, Mel, that many worlds is somehow like negating the laws of logic. That's not how many worlds theory works at all.
Actually,
right?
I said many worlds is logical, and you can.
No, you said it in the chat earlier. I can't be fucked to find it, but
logical. You can put a logical. It's logically possible when you watch Avengers and you see how they're doing everything. It's logically possible the way they're putting this together. You can envision it. That's how they made the fucking movie. They couldn't have made the movie without using logic.
So, Speakeasy, can we comprehend anything that's not logically possible?
Can you comprehend anything that's not logically possible?
Yeah, because you said the reason Marvel was able to use that in their story is
when you say comprehend it, do you mean like you can like a married bachelor?
Like conceive
that's
of.
not logically
can
possible.
You conceive of something that's not exactly. So we can still write stories about things that aren't we can still write stories about things that aren't logical. Therefore, Marvel
get off the Ritalin. I'm trying to get a clarification.
Marvel using that in their story is not proof that it's logical.
See,
that was logic right there.
Hey, let him
with you, bro.
Yeah, let's.
I'm sorry, I don't actually care about a white guy's lament. Like, I have bigger priorities in my life.
Oh my god, Mel, seriously.
White as fuck.
Yeah, you're like the fucking.
But I make my laments worth it. So.
No, you really don't. You really don't.
Okay. I have a question.
What's Keelan's question? Go ahead, Keelan.
How do we know logic is like? How do we know it works?
Can you be more specific?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
So, it sounds so stupid to ask, but how do we know logic is logical, essentially? Like, how do we know it's correct?
How do we know logic is logical?
I think it's kind of a definitional thing, no. I don't know.
Couldn't I just,
Brandon, do you want
I think I know what he's trying to ask. But
it sounds really stupid. It sounds really stupid. I don't have the right words for it.
Couldn't I just work backwards from my conclusions and violate?
Just wait. I want to hear this. I want to hear the Keelan speakeasy and hopefully Brandon interpreting what Keelan is saying.
We need to give stupid questions heavy lifting. I get it.
Yeah,
Mel, stop.
The question itself, right? When you say how do we know logic is logical, that would assume logic needs to be verified by something outside of itself. You don't actually you don't justify logic. You actually can't avoid it, right? It's actually what this is what I was going through yesterday. Is logic isn't something we prove; it's what makes proof possible, right? So when we ask a question, we assume already logic itself.
Oh yeah, what would be your answer?
Right? Like,
what do you think?
I would just ask you, are you
is
using
logical?
logic, right? And you'd obviously say yes. So like you can't step outside of logic to test it. You're already always using it. And that's why it's universal. That's what I'm trying to say here. This is a universal concept, and it didn't come from our particular minds.
Sounds like having faith to me.
No, even testing the laws even testing the laws of logic, you're using logic to test it, right? Like, oh, does A always equal A?
I can use the laws of the Bible to test if God exists, and God will exist.
Great obfuscation. What aboutism? I don't know where you're going with this.
Well, no, you can't. I'm pointing out that those two are equivocal, and therefore you need to make a distinction. How would that not be the same as looking at the Bible and saying that's proof God exists?
And Seercar is right in the chat right now. There's different logics out there that accept contradictions, and they don't accept the principle of explosion, because if you accept classical logic, like the 3 classical laws, with that formal system, they accept what's called the principle of explosion, where it's like P, not P, therefore Q. That from a contradiction, anything follows. But there are logicians out there that accept different logics to where you can have P and not P, but still reason and it not entail just any proposition.
Yep. I know exactly what you're saying. If a contradiction is true, then anything can be proven true. This is the principle of explosion, right? So like if you allow even one contradiction, like A and not A, then logically you could derive that the sky is green. 2 plus 2 is 5.
Yeah. Well, 2 plus 2.
I'm a hot dog. You know, like you can literally everything becomes true. But the whole thing is, if contradictions are allowed,
can be true.
Wait, what? Sorry.
You're talking in that universe. You're saying that everything can be true.
Well, no, actually, everything becomes true. That's why this is what I'm going to. This is what I'm going to here. It's like, if a contradiction is true, then anything can be proven true. That means everything becomes true, right? Because that's literally the whole point of it. If contradictions are allowed, I can prove anything. That means truth collapses entirely, right? Well, so that would mean truth is relative.
But Brandon is saying there are systems of logic that don't have the explosion thing. So how does that work, Brandon?
Right. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's Speakeasy is essentially right if you accept classical logic. But now I'm not an expert on pair consistent logic. I haven't read a fucking thing about it. But from my understanding, they want to say that they want to reject the principle of explosion, to where if you do have a contradiction, you can still reason, but not necessarily everything follows. Like you don't get the P, not P, therefore Q. They reject that. No, don't ask me any further questions. I don't know how that works.
The reason that's a problem, right, is like allowing those contradictions. First off, again, you have to assume the logic to even explain all that. And then allowing contradictions would be like saying, like, the rules of the game were like, say we're playing fucking football, and like, but the rules don't matter. And then the game just, where would it go? Like, right? Like it wouldn't make sense anything, because there's no rules to the game anymore, right? It would be like a calculator that gives us an answer one time. You know what I'm trying to say?
The answer changes every time you hit enter.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm trying to say? That's exactly
why I was saying chaos.
That's the reason but this is the whole reason contradictions can't be true, because reality itself is structured by rationality.
You do have
structured rationally.
You do have like dialetheists that think that there are true contradictions, but once again, they don't accept the principle of explosion, because something like the law of non-contradiction, for that to be, if we want to treat it as like propositional, to where those things can be true or false, like the law of non-contradiction, if you just have one case where a contradiction is true, it doesn't apply in every context, I guess. Like if you have like, let's say you accept the liar's paradox. This sentence is false. You think that's a proposition. You think that that proposition is true, but it's also false at the same time. So you can accept that, but you can still reason in other contexts where not everything follows. That's kind of my understanding.
So wait, Brandon, in this system that you're talking about,
I was just going to say, you can go right after this, Mo, real quick. I just want to say, when we say if a contradiction is true, then anything can be proven true, we're assuming logic to rationally explain this. We're already within the 3 laws of logic here. And then we use the 3 laws of logic to show how the principle of explosion is bunk. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just a question for Brandon. Even in this logical system that you were talking about, that one, correct me if I'm wrong, but it still has rules and it still distinguishes between valid and invalid reasoning, right? It's just how it structures the contradictions. So it doesn't escape transcendental concepts. It just kind of modifies how contradictions are handled. It basically contains it to that one thing versus saying everything explodes.
And if we go by the principle of explosion, guess what?
Yeah.
If Mo rebuttal is speakeasy, then God exists. So therefore, God exists. See how that works? Principle of explosion.
Checkmate, atheist.
Checkmate.
The problem.
Brandon, may I ask you a question? How do and maybe for Mo too? How do logicians encounter the idea that like the statement everything is true, despite that probably never being true, the statement everything is true is probably true to somebody who's never encountered anything that is false?
I don't know if I understand the question. So we have the proposition everything is true, and then you have somebody...
we're taking for granted that it's false. But now we're coming up with the hypothetical where somebody who's never encountered anything that is false, the statement everything is true would be true to them.
That would just be subjective reasoning.
Well, like it depends on how we're cashing out.
Like that would just be like to the person. Like that would just be them playing like fucking, paradoxical
most
games.
Logic?
You could never not encounter anything that's false. It doesn't even make sense.
Well, if you never have...
Well, hold on.
Yeah, you definitely could.
So
there might be...
limited contradictions already kind of exist in our universe, right? Like, especially in physics, quantum superposition, or
that's actually what many worlds is used to explain.
And the wave particle duality, where photon is both a wave and a particle at the same time. These things already exist in our universe to some extent.
Those aren't contradictions.
Yeah, they're not only are they not contradictions, you still have to assume the laws of logic even to explain what they are. This is the whole thing. Like, I literally, this is one that gets brought up a lot. I'm not gonna lie, that one does get brought up a lot.
Which state is it in?
Finish, even though it started in the middle of my sentence. Go ahead.
Sorry. When an electron is in a state that is spinning up and spinning down at the same time, that's not a contradiction to you?
That first off, that's how we perceive it. That doesn't mean that's what's physically happening. Another problem here with this is the fact that you have again.
No, you can go ahead.
At the very core.
Too much to type. Oh, gotcha. Well, you can just
perceiving.
I mean, if you just want to send like a voice chat in Discord to answer the question, here's to your chat to say.
Assume the laws of logic. You have to.
Yeah, the debate panels move pretty quick, Var. We jump from subject to subject, whatsoever. And it's like.
So again, at the core of this, we're still bound by the laws of logic, and this one gets brought up a lot. This physics and quantum physics. So one day, I decided to like do the tag argument against the Chat GPT or one of the AIs. I don't remember which one it was. And like I was going back and forth for it for a while, and even got the Chat GPT to agree that because at the core, for us to even understand what we're perceiving, we need the laws of logic. It still abides by the laws of logic. Even the Chat GPT that agreed with me. Okay,
Well, yeah, it's basically saying that in order to speak,
I had to fight it hard though.
Hold on. It's you're basically saying that in order to communicate, we have to be able to speak.
Nope. That's not what I'm saying. You could speak and not be able to communicate. Have you ever met someone that's like half a brain? They speak and they're not really communicating. You know what I'm saying?
Alex, are you sure you don't mean that we need to transmit information?
Yeah, I guess yes. Transmit information of some sort, whether that's through blinking, winking, tapping, slipping, falling, whatever method you want to use, we have to transmit information somehow. So to assume that the information we're transmitting is inaccurate would render any communication we have untrustworthy.
And I just want to point out something like
this is a basic necessity, not necessarily a factual statement of the universe, right?
So Alex, everything you brought up is just everything you brought up is like a subsection of the overall discussion, I feel, and it's not actually talking about what speakeasy.
Welcome to the Confluence panel. That is the theme around here.
How would you phrase
it? Stop fucking bitching so much, dude. Fuck.
Well, that's the little crybaby in the top right who relies on presuppositionalism to make your laws of logic work.
Holy fuck, bro.
Alex, I think
come up here and
there's
bitch and whine and spur.
You should bitch about the bitching so that way you become a bigger bitch.
Fucking unlikable.
You should definitely bitch about the bitching so that way you're the bigger bitch. Keep being the bigger.
No, you get into these moods sometimes, and it's impossible to pull you out of them.
One of the disconnects
ones
here
where
is
I notice how crappy things are.
It seems like Speakeasy Mo and Brandon have a knowledge of logic that they might take for granted, and the questions you're asking and Mel are asking are kind of like really foundational questions that you'd have to read and dig into more than just
real scholars would know
debate on a panel.
That real scholars would be able to answer. You mean?
No, that's not even what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say what I'm trying to say is when he says that we have to.
Yeah, he's trying to say we don't know enough about philosophy.
No.
That's exactly what he just said.
No, what
I'm not saying that about you.
By saying that we have to accept philosophy as a universal truth in your frame of universal, then we.
I didn't even say that.
What do you mean?
I didn't say philosophy is universal.
Logic. My apologies. Logic. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, what other definition of universal would you use?
Within the universe we currently exist within.
That's what you mean by universal?
Yes.
So what word would you use for what I mean?
Oh, Jesus.
Absolute? Would that be better for you?
It'd be an absolute thing.
And you don't think laws of logic are absolute?
I think that there's a possibility they're not. I think it would be inconceivable to us since we exist within a system where they are, but
I mean, and that's not. I know Speakeasy kind of laughing. It sounds like a crazy view, but like half of philosophers do not accept classical logic. It's something like that. Like half of them do not accept either one of the three laws, or they reject explosion or something like that.
Who?
Now, if they reject, like, let's say they reject like the law of non-contradiction, they can think that with every proposition that we're talking about, there is only one truth value for that proposition. So this proposition is true, this proposition is false. Like none of these entail a contradiction, and just one proposition does entail a contradiction. Now, in that case, they are rejecting the law of non-contradiction, and that would make the law of non-contradiction false if you take it to be.
Yeah, Barry, I see your point. You're talking about using logic in the world we
I wanted to say that
inhabit
earlier, so I had to get it out now. But
basically, make
what I'm saying makes sense. I feel like I'm jargon maxing.
The difference is we were discussing the laws of
wondering
logic.
Who,
Graham Priest. Look up that guy.
Who?
But
Graham Priest.
Graham Priest.
But Brandon, even in these systems,
or PRE,
spell it for him.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so even in these systems, though, it's not like logic is just thrown out the window. When you say like, oh, half philosophers don't accept the classical laws, it's like they're still using, I don't know what the word is to say, because they're still being logical. They're still using reason, and so it feels like, yeah, they might, some guy's gonna like, yeah, disagree with the law of exclude middle, or someone's gonna nuance the thing that you said about law of non-contradiction to prevent the explosion thing from happening. But like, they're not like throwing it out. They're just like, they're like quibbling over exactly how it like works out, but they're still using like logic to do that. But I feel like I'm like contradicting myself.
They're not taking those laws for granted.
I'm not super familiar with, just if I may, Melanie, because I've been letting other people speak.
So have I.
Okay.
And I want to respond to Confluence directly that they don't take those laws of logic for granted, right? They question them, and particularly their ability to still use logic without taking the classical laws for granted shows that you can still do logic without them.
I know. Okay, but even that, then it's still logic itself is still whatever. They might be defining logic in a different way, whether they're right or wrong, but they're still using logic, right? Like there still is something. Maybe it's deeper. Maybe the 3 laws of logic are not like the only way to see things. But even if we grant that, they're still using logic, right? Something that is transcendental to even do any of this stuff. Otherwise, their systems wouldn't even make sense, right? Like presumably the people that disagree with the excluded middle thing, they still have a cohesive system that like works still for like formal logic, right? Under their rules.
Jump in, because this is.
I think you have a misunderstanding there, Brandon. I searched it up, like how many there is too, and like I see like 2.
You'd have to go to like Phil Paper survey.
In classical Aristotelian logic, what's fundamental are terms, and in modern Frege logic, what's fundamental are propositions. Right?
My bad. I was talking while you were talking, bro. My bad. What were you saying?
In classic, it depends on the logic you use. Like in classic Aristotelian logic, what's fundamental is the individual term, but in Frege logic, what's fundamental is the proposition. Right? Confluence?
I don't know what fucking Frege logic is. Never heard of that in my life.
Fregean. Gottlob Frege.
You spelling it doesn't make me know what it is. It sounds like some obscure nonsense.
You can look it up.
And this is why I was talking about thinking for yourself earlier, because like now what you're doing is, well, these philosophers challenged it, and their challenge suck. Their challenges all fucking sucked. Even those philosophers who question logic still fucking relied on logic. You can't debate without logic. You can't reject non-contradiction completely. You can't function in a contradiction. None of this works. Like, I don't give a fuck about these philosophers. They're retards. They're morons. All of them. Anyone that said that laws of logic can be changed is a moron.
So can you imagine?
I put it in the private chat. Speak easy.
Can you imagine another law discovered or added? Speak easy.
Nope.
You think the 3 laws that we have are it? There's absolutely nothing else.
They are the core of everything. Yes. I know we have other laws of logic, but the 3 laws, the 3 classical laws, are the core of everything. Yes.
So you can admit
the only
though
ones
that
they can't change.
you can admit though that like these don't define the universe, right? We have to come up with categories that fit these logic, and then we use logic to verify those categories.
No,
but the universe, so the universe also follows these laws of logic.
You keep saying we use logic to verify. Logic is how you're even able to verify anything. So
the logic would be like
category error here.
No, we can just use math.
Like I know you think you're big brained, but like you know, listen sometimes. Listen sometimes.
Forget about logic.
You don't use logic to prove anything. Logic is how you're able to prove. Do you understand the difference?
Yeah, we're evaluating truth value. So again, if something is determined to be true, does that mean it must exist? No, right?
What? Are there any math?
Am I in a Twilight Zone
things that are logically true don't necessarily.
You're in the midi-world zone, Easy. That's where you're at.
Right? Is this hard to answer? Is it hard to say no, that they do not exist? Are you scared or something?
That's so crazy, bro.
Does anyone here know about topology?
It's like you didn't even listen to what I said. You were just letting me finish so you could respond with something totally different.
That's how you make me feel. So I guess the feeling's mutual.
I don't want to make you feel anything, you fucking weirdo.
When you call me a fucking weirdo, you're clearly trying to make me feel bad about myself. So
no, I'm not.
Way to contradict yourself mid-sentence.
You think I give a fuck about how you feel about how I talk?
I think you should give a fuck about whether you contradict yourself mid-sentence.
You just try to make it out as if like I have some like,
actions speak louder than words. Philosophy, bro. Actions speak louder than words.
So productive as per usual, Mel.
This is my law of logic. This is my fourth law of logic. Actions speak louder than words.
Mm-hmm. Listen, if you don't get a part of a conversation, there's nothing wrong with saying, I don't understand what you said. Can you explain it a different way? Instead of going off on something else and trying to
literally
like
couldn't answer the fact that
about.
Just because something is true does not necessitate its existence. Like your brain broke there, not mine.
Yeah, I want to ask Brandon something to get the attention away from Mel briefly. Okay. Brandon, so this is what I don't
Wait, the
get. I guess
economy we're in.
Just shut up for a sec, Mel, please. So what I don't understand is what is the best way to formulate, I guess, what I was saying before, where it's like all these systems of logic, they're still using logic. But then I feel like I'm saying nothing if I say that. So, but I think you know what I mean when I say that.
Do you know
so what's the
way laws of logic?
To formulate that? Because there's still like a logical core to the rules of law, even if you're changing them up and having some like switcheroos and stuff, you know?
Sure. Yeah. It sounds like because it sounds like you want. Well, you're like an intuitionist.
Vara, there's three laws
the law of
classical logic. Do you know what they are?
And I just completely lost my train of thought. Repeat your question. Jesus Christ.
About that, there's a logical core to all the ways that these logical systems work. And so but to call it logical, then I feel like I'm just like doing a weird tautology
it's almost
or
like
something.
You feel like you're equivocating or something.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is with these different logics is they still accept certain rules like elimination, negation, disjunction. Well, actually, some don't accept disjunction, but the thing is they accept certain rules and they can reason from those rules. And with the different logics, it's just depending on which rules are being used in that formal system. So it's not like it's just like a free for all.
Don't you agree, Brandon? That's when it becomes arbitrary, though, because like even I did go look up what's his name, Graham. Well, let me look at it here. Graham.
Hey, BG.
Priest.
Yes, Priest. Where? I just had it open. What the fuck? Oh,
Hey,
I closed it. Fuck. Anyways.
Hey, what's up?
The Graham Priest that you were just talking about. I was when you look into it. Here he is. He still doesn't allow all contradictions, right? Only in very specific cases, because so like that's what I mean. It becomes arbitrary with these other laws that people are making up, right? And when I realized that it's the dialetheism that you were talking about, it started cluing in a little bit more. And who was it said that like logic is? They say he says logic is revisable like science, basically saying like it's something we need to keep looking at. That's what it sounded like he was saying.
But let's be honest, right, about philosophy, right? Because a lot of individuals that study philosophy tell me the same thing. They say, look, ABG, it has brought me farther from God because it provides a qualification for a metaphysical significance, right? That is qualified under a specific, like, scientist's view. There is a danger in that. And that danger lies within an explanatory metaphysical element for the meaning of life, or the meaning of X, the meaning of God's gifts. Okay. And if we turn to philosophy, sure, it's interesting. It's actually kind of funny in some circumstances, but it fucks us up because it deters us from our spiritual father.
You saying philosophy fucks us up is a philosophical claim, by the way.
It is. It is.
Is it pulling you further from God as you did that?
Yes.
You weren't supposed to bite that bullet.
Oh, Mo, I'll bite that bullet all day. I don't care.
All right, fair enough. Video time?
Does that make sense, guys? Like, it's overly complex and it discounts God's reach.
Yeah, it almost sounds to me like God isn't logical.
Oh, fuck off, Mel.
That's rage bait. You guys are getting rage baited.
Yeah,
but no. Why, if logic is great?
Yeah, nobody
great,
cares whether you're not.
why would you get pushed away from it if you're using it to justify God?
When you say philosophy, this is what I mean. Like philosophy is like it's reasoning, examining that assumptions people have, getting to like foundational questions. But like, why would reasoning lead away from the truth?
Because it's reasoning in the improper format. So like if you have a spiritual question about like longevity or Christianity, you would turn to your spiritual father. And if you don't, it's just a waste of time.
So
spiritual father, that sounds a little bit misogynistic and sexist.
So AVG, just a question for you. What would you say for someone who would say that logic and like philosophy reasoning is what led them closer to God?
Oh, well, that's great, but you still need a spiritual father to guide you to the path to Christianity. And
right. But what if that was the path that led them to it?
Thing. Why would the philosophy lead someone? I'm confused of why it would lead someone away from God.
It could. There's a potential. It doesn't. It's not 100% success rate.
A woman could lead me away from God. Should I have not looked for my wife? Like that's.
Would it be more accurate to say bad philosophy would lead you away from God?
Yeah, probably bad philosophy, maybe.
Well, the only thing I would say, and I don't know if you're saying this, Page,
so many things that there's something lead us away from God that I think philosophy would be the least dangerous of a lot of things.
I think if the philosophy
the
or
internet
the theology is done well, I think it's fine. But I think what I would say, I don't know if you agree with this or not, Paige, but I think the intellectualizing of something can, I think, detract sometimes from the experiential stuff we're supposed to have. Like even like I think studying theology, even if it's like true theology, right? I think it can create like a more intellectual focus as opposed to like an experiential focus. Because I've heard a lot of people say that, and I feel like I've even found that in my own life, where it's like the more you like intellectualize stuff, then you have a tendency to use that as like a bypass for like actually like having an experience. Is that what you do?
You're talking about the curiosity molecule and effectively like whether or not the curiosity molecule applies to one, intelligent research, or two, just general research, right? And if it applies to general research, well, with the current stipulations that we have with respect to AI and online algorithms, it can be very damaging. But if it is intelligent and if it is centered, right, it can be great. So
yeah. Testy says the magic man done it. Testy's trying to trigger me. Okay.
To me, what Paige said made total sense, because when you're raised being taught that like you can only be moral if you believe in God, and then philosophy shows you no, you can be moral just by using your free thinking skills and entertaining different ideas. You don't need God for that morality anymore. You don't need God to be a good person.
Stop putting words in people's mouth. Either have a like serious engagement with people or nobody.
Oh, okay, but you can't have one with me, so I don't give a shit.
You're a fucking loser. I just tried
right
to.
Back to it.
You're a fucking loser. I just tried to. When you first came up here, I was completely.
Have you responded to anything I've ever said? Have you responded to anything I've said? Have you responded to anything I've said?
The attention goes off of Mel for like.
I would like to engage with
back to a coherent conversation.
Have you actually responded to anything I've said?
Wouldn't you say, Paige, that like the internet is probably more like something that would lead people away from God than philosophy itself?
Yes.
What aboutism?
Sierra Card, get up here.
The unfortunate truth, Speakeasy, is that like a lot of people explore philosophy through the internet, and so we are at an impasse. Let's see where.
Yeah, a lot of people do learn philosophy from the internet. I think people should go read books more, but
I agree. Not only should people read books about philosophy, they should read books about theoretical physics.
I think people just reading books more in general. Like there's literally studies that show people who read more become like they have a higher vocabulary.
Yeah, but especially about philosophy and theoretical physics.
A lot of benefits that you're training your mind with when you're reading.
Dude, who the fuck uses physics in their regular job? Like
physicians?
Honestly,
physicists,
engineers. Dumbass, you just said physicians. We all heard that. We all heard that.
It's like, who the fuck needs to know about physics? Okay, like it's fascinating. Sure.
Engineers.
Do I use it?
Physicists.
I'm not an engineer. I'm a litigator.
Engineers, physicists need to know about physics in their job page. Sorry, if your name's not Paige, people in chat were saying you don't go by Paige. Sorry.
Not the average person, right? Right, Melvin? Not the average person.
I think theoretical physics and philosophy are fascinating because they're so interrelated, right? Because theoretical physics deals with philosophical questions like what is the nature of space and time and causality and emergence and like are relations more fundamental or entities? These are at the border between physics
falls
and
into materialism all the time. Math is more philosophical than physics. Fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Math is more philosophical than physics. I'd say.
Yeah, you fucking dumbass.
I think physics is obviously more philosophical than math.
Oh, here we go.
Dumbass if you believe that.
Math
here we go. Math versus physics. Here we go. The war we've been waiting for.
You fucking joking?
Them have their applied components and their theoretical.
It's so
components,
retarded
right?
to believe that
The theoretical components are always going to be more
closer to
philosophical.
philosophy than math. Do you even know what math is? Have you ever seen real math?
I know arithmetic and algebra.
Yeah, so you have never seen real fucking math.
Oh, I like this, Keelan.
With math and physics, there's your applied component, right? There's the stuff that there's stuff.
Math, bro. What are you talking about?
There's
you take 1 plus 1. You take 1 plus 1 equals
theoretical math.
Math
that can't.
Yeah, it is.
It's not necessarily
Is
applicable.
that a fake math?
Not. You prove
Thank you, Cool Vic.
Is that a fake math?
Someone's got a TV on or something.
Yeah,
did anyone hear that?
Fucking crazy shit playing in the back.
Is that you, Alex?
It gives me more reason to
it is you, Alex.
So it's really good.
I'm just wondering, is 1 plus 1 equals 2 fake math?
So first of all,
no, but it's not axiomatic.
It's not axiomatic.
Depending on what base number you're counting in, 1 plus 1 can equal something else.
You said it's not real math. You didn't say anything about axiomatic. You said it's not real math. So I'm asking you, is it fake math?
Well, I'm saying so he's arithmetic and like algebra, and that's basically pattern recognition. That's not math.
So to answer your question, if I count in binary, no, 1 plus 1 doesn't equal 2. It equals 1 0.
That's such a dumb response to that question. That's not what Keelan's even talking about, Mal. Keelan's talking about.
I'm sorry if you're mathematically illiterate to the point where you didn't know that.
Mel, you.
Yeah,
Mel, you should have
yes, there are.
Nobody knows that except you.
So yes, there are actual instances where it equals 2, where it doesn't equal 2. There are actual instances where that happens.
No,
so,
we're not talking about changing the
to be speakeasy.
You absolute retard, Mel.
Well then, yeah, that's math. But wait, that's math. That's math.
When Keelan is saying that, he's meaning something on a much deeper level
than
what you're saying.
What I just said is math and does show that 1 plus 1 can equal something other than 2.
Oh my
Let's
god!
Ask Mel about the 3 laws of logic. Mel, what are the 3 laws of logic?
Law of identity, law of non-contradiction, law of excluded middle.
Okay.
Mel probably got that because we've repeated them like 20 times. Okay, Mel just called a physician a physicist.
What is your existence right now, Mel? Mel, what is your existence?
2 genders plus an infinity genders is still 2 genders.
Yo, we're not going to the we've already covered physics versus math and philosophy. We're not going down the gender rabbit hole. We can go down Israel Palestine. We can go down
Israel Palestine.
Guys, I'm staying on
Let's
math.
combo them all together.
I know so much about biology. I'd love to have that combo.
1 gay fox equals.
Well, if we're counting binary, 10.
Oh, it equals 10 gay foxes?
Well, if you can't consider 10 to be 1, 0, it depends on if you consider that to be representative.
When you factor in the grooming effects, yeah, it equals 10.
1 gay fox. One physical
Grooming,
gay
yeah.
fox plus one physical gay fox
equals 10 with grooming. Yeah, you forgot that.
Oh yes, that's right.
So is this how you're going to take the L for not understanding that base number systems can actually give you different results than the ones you learned in school?
And the ones, where'd you learn it?
I learned about this when I learned about logarithms.
In school?
Yeah.
Oh,
I apparently got further in math than you did.
The one you learned in school? Wait, you learned it in school too, idiot. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, do you even think before you talk?
Yeah, I clearly got further in math than you did.
Holy fuck. Yeah, probably.
But wait, what does any of this have to do with whether
it's not hard to get further in math and speak easy? It's almost too easy.
Yeah, cool. And what?
No, that's
and
it.
what? You
I got my
how
burn.
many years on the internet desperately going to panels to be noticed and nobody gives a fuck
Likewise.
who you are?
Likewise.
I'm here 3 years and look at where I am. Shut your mouth, you dumb bitch.
Oh wait, I've been here longer than you. Damn, show some respect.
Years. You've been here for like 10 years.
10 years? I've been doing this for oh, shit, I didn't even know I've been doing this for 10 years. Confluence, show me some damn respect. I'm an old timer, okay? I'm an internet veteran. Okay? It's time to show some respect around here.
Shut up, you fucking pole smoker.
I just smoke weed.
Wait, by the way, what does any of this have to do with whether physics or math is more philosophical?
Any of this
you guys didn't do your war. We thought you were going to bring something more, and you kind of petered out there. So what the fuck?
The reason that I think physics is more philosophical than math is because it deals with fundamental metaphysical questions like what is space, time, causality, emergence, etc.
Can you charge us back for me real quick, Testy? Can you fucking charge?
How long are we muted for? Because
I'm double.
My definition on the screen.
Hey, who's the math guy? Keelan, do the math for me. How long are we all muted if it costs 2 minutes?
We're not
and 1 minute.
That's 6, so it's less than 4 minutes and more than 3.
Wait, what?
So what would this be? Because there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
God,
you can't kick yourself, right?
Normal amount of number. It's $2 to mute me, $1 to mute everyone else. So I count as like 2 people. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 20 divided by 8 is what? I guess 2.5 minutes. Yeah, 2.5.
Well, you wouldn't divide it by 8 because one person not being
Just
muted.
mute everyone for 5 minutes. Fuck it, man. Just do it.
No, because I don't want Kirk talking for 5 minutes. I think it's 2.5. That's what I've come to. Hope my math is right. It's probably right in binary.
Yeah,
you think about it.
You do what I'm about to do. You mute it.
Okay, so all I just wanted to say is that the reason I think physics is more philosophical than math is because basically when you're dealing with metaphysics, you're dealing with questions like what is space, what is time, what is causality, what's more fundamental, relations are standalone entities. And all of these questions are dealt with within theoretical physics. Like, for example, theoretical physicists debate if space-time is background dependent, background independent. People debate A series versus B series time.
Var, if still there. So the 3 laws of logic is, you might have heard it on the panel, but it's the law of identity. So example would be A is always A.
At the end of the day, there's so many
law of
non-contradiction.
You can't have something be A and not A at the same time. And then law of excluded middle. You can't have something that is like a light switch can't be
at the same time, there is philosophical basis of mathematics, like what is mathematical logic, how do we justify mathematics, where does mathematical knowledge originate from, etc. And so in this context, mathematics is very philosophical.
That's the classical
as philosophical as physics, but that's
now there's other schools of logic that go into a bunch of other stuff, but those are the 3 classical.
Psychology is philosophical.
So
I don't think it's
you can't even exist and function in the world without the 3 laws of logic. So if you didn't have the law of identity, like let's say you were, in construction, and that's a bad example. Like you wouldn't like a tree could just turn into like a unicorn, right? Like there's no identity. That would be if there was that would be the case if like there's no laws, no law of identity, like. Things are themselves.
Be unmuted.
I'm gonna mute this because.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm pretty autistic, so I talk pretty fast. I mean, actually, I don't know if that's correlated with or caused by autism, but I talk fast. I'm sorry, but I won't leave you with that air. I'll sing you a song. That once there was a secret chord that David played and pleased the Lord. And now I'll sing it to you. Hallelujah. It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king compose, and hallelujah. I'm sorry, buddy, but you said no.
Thank God. Thank God. I mean, I guess it's better than dead air. Okay, we're all free. Everyone, free yourselves.
He really loved that cover. He was so into it. I've never seen someone rock out that hard.
He was rocking out to the Hallelujah cover. He's like, where can I get that Spotify?
We need a clip of that, of him singing that, and then Speakeasy just like rocking the fuck out the entire time.
This is why I need a clipper.
He agrees.
This is why I need a clipper.
He agrees with me. He's shaking. He's nodding his head yes.
You can basically ask Speakeasy anything you want, and he'll just say yes to it automatically, assuming he still has this deafened.
If we don't watch the video, I am going to unalive myself and everybody on this panel in Minecraft.
I just need to point out here, I was the one accused of not listening and just waiting until it's my turn to talk. Just pointing that out.
Oh, is he done?
I have a hard out in like 15 minutes, though. Unfortunately, you know. So.
I guess
I have a hard in. I guess I'm the one getting better results.
I don't like I don't like any of what you just said. I don't like any of it.
Anyway, back to the video.
And by the way, everyone join the Discord, seeing as I got probably some new people from Cool Vic. Okay, so that's not the thing I meant to say. Where's Nightbot?
No,
Flanker?
don't join the Discord. It's all about there's a bunch of tranny posts in there stuff. It's horrible. It's a hellscape
I don't even think there's a single trans person in my whole Discord, because Mel's not even in my Discord.
Yeah,
okay, I changed my then yes, everyone should join. It's a
single.
And also
chasers that I left.
Also, there should be joining, because there's a trivia tomorrow put on by me and Big Soda. Topic is World War II, so give a little, go to the trivia channel.
World War II. Every answer is going to be Yahtzee.
Wait, no spoilers. No spoilers, okay?
I'll take Yahtzee for 500, Alex.
Just make every one of your answers Nazi, even though you know it's wrong.
It's a multiple choice, okay?
So I see you're gonna get back into the video.
You're too late. You're muted. We're already watching the video, dude. Just shut up.
Later, Easy.
Here, so thanks for having me up, Confluence.
07's Easy. Always a pleasure.
Mo, it's hard to see all these names here. Kirk,
Bad Mike 2,
Alex,
Bad Mike 3.
Everyone else. Chat, all of y'all, thanks for having me. I'll come around again soon time.
Great.
Until we speak again, my brother in Christ.
All right. God bless you guys. Take care.
God bless. What did I do to? What did I do to?
Listen to his own.
So we have like 5 minutes to watch this. Is what I'm hearing, and then so we'll get like 10 seconds in, and then we'll
the more I have
to
fight you, the less
hard
time
out's like.
Or you could just shut up with your gobbledygook.
Likewise,
we could watch.
Likewise, I just want to point out though that Speakeasy heard his own song, jammed out to it, and then thought, "I need more of that." It was so good. Same.
Great observation there. Anyway.
Always great insight, Mel.
By the way, again, let's just say for a second that you believe I'm wrong, and I assume that, let's just say, for all intents and purposes, I'm wrong in this debate. Does that mean atheism is not possible?
Well, if you're wrong that atheism is possible, if you're wrong that atheism is possible, then it would be true that atheism is impossible.
No. I'm asking you, if I'm false, does that prove that atheism is unreal?
Well, what's the distinction between being a false and unreal?
Those are two different things.
Yeah, I'm asking you the distinction.
Wow, it's almost like this is what I was asking Speakeasy before.
I'm trying to say that there is an objective modal argument there, right? That atheism in and of itself cannot be real. So maybe the better question would be, which style of argument are you going to use to say something other than prompt?
I mean, I'm just asking you, how in the atheist position do you get universal, invariant, immaterial laws from a universe that is supposedly strictly material?
Again, I can probably use a transcendental argument that doesn't actually presuppose a theological argument using Kant, right? Kant did that.
No, I mean, I'm asking you to answer the question, sir.
I just answered it.
No, you just said I could probably do a thing. That's not an answer.
With Kant made a transcendental argument that did not inject.
So you have universal immaterial laws in nature because of Kant. How did Kant do that? Is he a wizard?
Have you read Kant?
He might be. So wait, when Kant died, how come we still have immaterial universal laws?
Every word of Kant I've read, I've regretted reading.
I'm not saying that he's claiming that there's immaterial universal laws.
I'm asking. Okay. You agree that there's immaterial universal laws.
I actually haven't read any yet. Now I'm intrigued. Now I want to go read.
Truth, logic.
I've read a lot of Kant.
All these transcendental categories are immaterial universal laws. Do you think that logic and truth exist?
I'm not really sure if they're immaterial universal laws, right? I mean, you're saying that's a universal claim.
Well, now you're going back on what I asked you in the beginning. So
that's a universal claim, correct?
Yeah.
So universal claims are meaningless when we talk about metaphysical concepts.
Maybe the chat can correct me, but
some universal claims about metaphysics are true, like
immaterial universal
2 plus 2 plus 4. That's a universal metaphysical claim.
Immaterial concept.
Except I've already proven that 2 plus 2 doesn't always equal 4.
No, that's not what I asked, man.
No, you haven't proved that.
Anybody can run it back.
I can count in a different
Haven't you heard of different bases? Oh my God, crazy Mel.
I know,
what
math
a good
is so scary when you want it to conform to your beliefs, but it doesn't.
No, that has nothing to do with 1 plus 1 not equal 2. You're just using a different base to express the
No,
two.
it's sad.
But
it's
then the
sad.
statement 1 plus 1 equals something other than 2 is also true.
No,
it's like sad as like those
you're not
donation commercials where it's all black and white. In the arms of an angel.
So 1 plus 1 equals 1 0.
I don't even feel mad anymore.
For $1 a day, you can take care of Mel's retardation.
So 1 plus 1 equals 1 0. Is that a false statement?
Well, if 1 plus 1 equals B and B equals 2, is that a false statement?
Not in base 2. Or in base 2.
Obviously, the symbols have to be defined, right, Mel? Like, obviously, like there's like math symbols. Oh, Keelan's not here. But there's like math symbols that are different depending on what mathematics you're doing.
Almost like you have to precept a bunch of things to make that work in the first place.
All this sounds to me is like, oh, if we decide 1 means something else or the base means this, then yeah, it doesn't. We can make it anything we want. Well, okay, great.
You realize that ranges show that numbers are actually arbitrary, right? Have you ever dealt with ranges? It's like a grade 3 thing.
Did you hear what I just said, though?
What do you mean numbers are arbitrary?
So yeah, you have to explain what you mean by that.
So I can take the only thing that isn't arbitrary is 0 and infinity. Everything in between, I can have one number to describe.
Wait, why?
Or an
why is it?
Amount of numbers.
Why isn't 0 arbitrary? Explain.
I'm hitting the fucking blinker.
Wait, what does that mean? Is he gonna go?
I don't know.
Is that code for I'm gonna go throw myself out the window because I can't stand this? I can't stand this conversation.
What we define 0 as is arbitrary. But the idea of
so 0 can be arbitrary.
The idea of nothing, aka 0, is not arbitrary. Neither is infinity.
I thought you said it can be.
Facts for rage.
The idea of 2 is not arbitrary either.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Mm-hmm. So if I write the number 2 in front of you, do you know that that's more or less than another scale?
Okay, we'll go with that for this week then, Rage Page.
Without
oh wow, multi-round trivia PowerPoint. Okay.
About, yes.
Yeah, you kind of have to assume the base I'm talking about, right? Like I said, it's all precept. It's all built on precept. Thank you.
Well, if I define 0 as 5, then how do you
0
know
degrees
0
Celsius,
5
right?
or not?
0 degrees Celsius is not 0 degrees Fahrenheit, for example.
Yes, you're saying that basically it's all arbitrary or none of it is.
So I agree that the operations of math are logically consistent.
It's because we're converting into another thing.
Yeah, I can go write a Python script that says 5 equals 10 and then have it spit out a number that I want. This doesn't fucking mean anything.
Logical. It doesn't prove that there's a logical axiom behind
I'm just changing the definition of what we're dealing with.
The code also presups that you're using base 10.
Numbers represent things.
The code will also precept that you're using base 10 when you write integers, and will precept that you're using base 2 when you're writing binary.
That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're presuppositioning.
It kind of does when we're actually talking about whether or not
because as soon as anyone gets a clarification,
so glad we're talking about the debate here.
They can
easily convert.
So
I'm just glad Brandon is in a better place right now.
Yeah, he's the best of us right now. He's in the best place.
The statement some 1 plus 1, some 1 plus 1 equals 2 is true, but the statement all 1 plus 1 equals 2 is false.
No, it equals the value of 2 in base 10. Or in base 2, 1, 0 is the value of 2. That's how you express it when you're writing it.
So okay, so let me. Are you talking about identities now? So 2 apples, 1 apple plus 1 apple equals 2 apples.
Yes, intrinsically, that's what we're doing.
But I also have 10 billion atoms plus 10 billion atoms equals 20 billion atoms within those apples, right? So how I divide those identities and categories is arbitrary in its own right.
What you're counting matters to what number you're going to use to represent it. Yes, clearly.
And what base you're in. So you can either state that explicitly or precept it.
The base is just a different way of counting it.
If I don't, you need to know that though in order to precept what base I'm counting in.
Well, if I give you 0, it could be an O. You need to know any numbers, don't you?
But that could be any base. And I don't know. For example, if you mean temperature, do you mean Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Yeah, so you're saying that at some point we have to explain what the fuck we're talking about if we can't assume what we're talking about.
And my point was 1 plus 1 equals 2 only if you precept base 10.
What does that to do with anything? That doesn't make any
sense. I have a question for Confluence, if that's okay. Confluence.
Please, yes, anything.
Why do you host these panels? I love them, but why do you host them?
He likes self-mutilation.
I like, a bit of it's probably self-harm. A lot of it's the dopamine. A lot of it is just building a community because I love you guys. A lot of it's also trying to make money and, do this as like a thing because I love doing it, So it's kind of a confluence of all the things I just mentioned.
Just like how my feelings towards you are a confluence of love and hate.
I'll read what you wrote if you send me money. Okay.
I send you the money first.
No, I'll read it. No, I'll read it ahead of time. Okay.
Alex, he's totally milking you for being a cash cow now.
Alex brought it up. I didn't say, hey, Alex, I'll read this if you give me money. Alex brought it up. Tag, in essence. 1, logic and morality exist. 2, naturalism doesn't explain them to my satisfaction. 3, therefore God. What? That's not tag. Essentially, philosophical gaps is therefore God, thus a God of the gaps argument. Boo! Yeah. I can't talk right now, but read that and I'll donate when I get home. Oh, you did mention that.
I didn't see that. I said it in chat as well in case you weren't reading your Discord, but you didn't read that either.
But okay, logic and morality exist. Natural doesn't explain it to my satisfaction. Therefore, God. No, I don't think that's.
This is the God of the gaps argument, right? We don't know how.
Yeah, what you stated was God of the gaps. That's not tag.
Just
paid in full. I do still find it highly gay, though, Alex. That's
fine. You can find it whatever you like.
I don't see. I mean, Brandon, would you hate tag famously, and I find tag annoying because I feel like people are gonna jump on me for saying I feel. Okay, I think strongly with my man brain. I think that it gets used in bad ways, and that's why I don't like it. But I think as an argument, I think it's a fine argument.
How is it used in bad ways?
Like, I think sometimes people are trying to have like a normal conversation about something where you could actually at least like from a I get in a debate maybe, but there's like times where like, you're just trying to like hash things out in the more like normal way that like Speakeasy was talking about, when you're just like hashing out like philosophical stuff, and someone will like run tag, and it feels like they're running a script, and it's like, you're not really getting anywhere with that person. You know what I mean? Like, you're not really breaking any ground. It's just like someone's trying to like run something on you, you know?
By the way, thank you so much to Rage Page for reminding me to voice train.
God.
I hated that.
Oh, then I'm definitely doing it more. In fact, your hatred for it is now my motivation to keep voice training, because I was forgetting. I'm too ADHD to.
Why do you have to train for something if you are that thing?
Yeah, athletes. Get with the picture, man. If you're not
yeah,
already a pro
athletes are
stop-
they're
stop faking.
athletes.
Mel, go watch some trans voice lessons, okay? That's a
In fact,
in-depth
I can
channel,
I
okay?
can sing like Emily
Hey,
Haynes
I
from Metric,
support
so
I
shut up.
support trans rights completely. I've actually dabbled in that territory myself.
Wow. Do you want your virtue signaling medal now or later?
I don't want to hear it, Kirk.
It was hilarious
I don't
to
even
see
need to do that anymore. I got
Too
mine
young
years
to
ago.
talk about that.
See, like the cases in the old folks' home where like people lose their voice and they go back to talking like this.
So here's my point, right? If God of the Gaps is basically we don't understand how this works, so it must have been God. This is essentially we don't know how this could possibly be, so it must be God.
Yeah, God of the Gaps is a shit argument. I don't think anyone who has.
I don't think that's what tag is.
I think.
Can I try to
But
say
it is.
I can
In essence,
formalize
it
I know
absolutely
the argument. Like I actually know the argument.
Go ahead.
It's just
Can you
X
hear me?
is a necessary precondition for Y. X is going to be God. Y is going to be some sort of transcendental category like knowledge, logic, etc. You can plug it into Y. We have Y. That's premise 2. Therefore, X, right? And X is God. Now, I don't know if it was Confluence or Alex that said like it can be ran bad. Well, if they're running the argument, I don't know how it can be ran bad. The issue that I typically come across is when I talk to presuppositionalists, instead of just like going through the premises and the argument, they start dissecting the other person's view as if it's relevant to whether or not their argument is sound. That's my
So your critique of it is they tend to go into internal critique of the other argument before letting the other person do internal critique of theirs.
Not even that the other person has to do an internal critique. It's just, well, I guess kind of, because they give the argument I just gave, and then what, at least that I've seen and what I've done in these conversations, is I'll say, why should anybody accept premise 1? What's the argument for that? And then they'll either say something like impossibility of the contrary, or they'll start asking about my view. Well, then how do you have knowledge? What's your account of knowledge? And then they start going down a dialogue tree. And I just take that to be a burden shift. Now, I don't care. Like if somebody has a good dialogue tree, that's fine, but don't present it as an argument. Just say, I want to investigate your view. Like that's
Inherently, when you're running the tag argument, you have to assume that any other explanation cannot exist, right? That's the only reason. That's the only way you can get to A.
No, not necessarily.
Why?
Because you're asking them questions in the tag tree, if you want to call it that, and they have to agree to it. If they don't agree to it, then you can go into a side quest of examining that portion of the tree.
Sure, but you're putting the burden on them to find.
No, like not necessarily. No, like people who run who I've seen that run good tag, they're not opposed to internal critiques or questions. Now they might ask a question once they answer in order to drive home the point. Like, how do you account for these things? Without what I just stated. But to give some leeway to Confluence's point. Yeah, there's any argument, no matter what it is, even if tag or otherwise, you can have people who read something and then they try to run it and they do a bad job at it, right? And then they just try to go into what they think they need to be as far as like internal critique of the other person's position, but that's just more of a comment or of them as a debater versus the argument itself.
And I want to talk about my preferences really quick, okay? What I would
God
prefer
damn it.
is really quick. I know. Every stream, it's got to happen. That's right. That's right, dude. If they say that they're going to run tag, then let's just talk about the premises, the conclusions, that sort of thing. But if they... And that's an argument, right? That's actually giving an argument. But if they want to investigate the other person's view... I would prefer them not to call that tag. That's not tag. You're just asking their view to see if they can justify their view, which is fine. Yeah, that's fine. But don't. Why call that tag? I thought tag was the formalized actual argument with premises, conclusion.
Well, you can have tag as your starting premise for your assertion of the argument, and then have a discussion to the contrary around it. right?
They're typically looking for a dialectic argument or a dialectic debate.
Well,
right?
the whole
Socratic
tag argument is circular, because I mean, tag itself really does depend on the pre-requirement that God exists in order for God to have created everything, right? So there is an assumptive force there within the tag argument. There has to be. It's a necessity.
Say that again.
Wait. Yeah, same. Yeah.
The tag argument has built into it a framework that has a necessity of precondition. The necessity is that God existed before everything else exists that God created. Therefore, God created everything else that existed. It's not saying that because of this, but it is in a circular rhythm because it continues going back to the fact that you have to pre-check for God first in order for you to have anything else afterwards. So it is a precondition within the worldview that God must exist in order for everything to have been created.
Well, no, that's it starts with it doesn't like presuppose God necessarily start. It starts with defining that transcendental universal concepts exist, and then it goes from there.
I get what you mean, sure.
Yeah, so it's not ending there.
Well, no, it's not ending there. It's saying foundationally that God is the beginning point. So it's presupposing something that we would say a presupposition would be something that's an ideal that we can't necessarily see in nature, right? For sure, things like that. We add to something to presuppose to give it some context.
I'll give you this. It's my understanding. It presupposes God's existence because when you go down transcendental universal concepts, anything to the contrary wouldn't make logical sense.
Well, and this is where I have kind of an argument with a lot of people who debate against religion, and to be fair, even people who debate for religion, right? Like this conceptual understanding of God, all right? Can a two-dimensional creature teach another two-dimensional creature what a three-dimensional creature is capable of? No, because they don't have the language to understand it and comprehend it.
Well, yeah, they can teach. No, they can teach. Yeah, they can teach what is been revealed to them as they understand it. Now, not the entire
that's true.
Essence.
That's true. But you understand what I'm saying? Like they can't actually understand what it is to be three-dimensional. They can only try and put it in language that other two-dimensional beings will understand. You see what I'm saying? We have this problem with our language.
It's not a whole understanding, no. But that I don't know any Christian that would say that they have a whole understanding of God. So I don't know what you mean.
I gotta interrupt for a second. Unfortunately, and I know Claire just got here, and Brand's gonna kill me because we didn't really watch much of the video since he got here. But Confluence does have a hard out, so we're gonna have to move to final thoughts. Remember, I'm gonna raise you guys over to Speakeasy. So final thoughts from anyone? I really want to continue the conversation because I'm enjoying listening to you guys.
Yeah, my final thoughts are reading books is important, studying philosophy is important, and be a smart person.
Based. Anyone else? And tomorrow, remember, is trivia, okay? And we will, before trivia, we will be watching more of the video, okay? I promise, Brandon. So if you end up, being around.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I could really go for a Taco Bell.
My closing statement is I wish we could watch more debate and discuss it, but that's it.
I'd like to continue the conversation. Yeah. That would be my closing statement.
Yeah. Well, I want to do both of those things.
Yeah.
Okay. God bless you guys. See you tomorrow. Debate or not debate. Rage page,
I ain't coming back
trivia.
here. I ain't coming back here. This is bullshit.
I'm never coming back.
Bye. See you later,
guys. You guys.
God bless.
Take care.
Peace.
Not even a.
All right. Well, that was fun. Speakeasy came on there. That was a hoot. I try to, whenever he pops on panel like that, I try to not interject too much because I understand he's doing his show and everything. But it's always fun when he's on panel. But anyway, I think I'm going to end this stream, and then I'm going to start another one. And we're going to play a little Baldur's Gate 3 honor mode. That's what we're going to do. Even with the whiskey. Even with being 3 whiskeys in, I think we can still survive and live in the Baldur's Gate 3 honor mode. I don't think it's gonna kill us. I think we'll make it. Flannel debate. We're gonna debate over that. Yeah, we're gonna debate over what's up, what's up, Rex? We're gonna debate over which one is the best, which color, which pattern, that sort of thing. But yeah, flannel panel. Maybe I should make a day stream and just call it that, and it's just me, and then I only invite other people up who also wear flannel. The flannelverse. Much superior than the panelverse. Much more based, more masculine. But yeah, that was a fun little panel. Melvin came up there and did the Melvin Spurg, which is always fun to laugh at. But yeah, more 90s Seattle rock scene. I'm not sure I know what that is. 90s Seattle rock scene. What would that be? Would that be like Pearl Jam and Nirvana and things like that? Grunge? Yeah, so Nirvana. See, I just call that good 90s rock. I just like and then you have the what actually would you consider Creed part of that? With arms wide open. Like one of those. Would Creed make the list, Rex? I'm more a weird Smashing Pumpkins guy. No, I like a Smashing Pumpkins. I think they get a bad rap. I think they're pretty good. Drop D Creed songs. What do you mean by drop D? Actually, I don't know. Are you about to head to bed, Rex, or you might be able to help me test something? Because we had an audio anomaly the other night that I think I might know the answer to. I would say Creed is considered post-grunge for some reason. Well, yeah, but you gotta remember, like Creed, their first album really was like My Own Prison and things like that. Give me 15-20, I can test it with you. Okay, great. That's just enough time to end this stream and start the other one. So I'm gonna end the stream. I'll start another one for a specific reason. That'd be in Baldur's Gate 3. And then I'll be back. So I will see everyone then. Talk to you soon.